Okay, it says we're on air. Let's see what happens. Okay, yeah, see if it'll come up and let us know if you see anything. Yeah, we're not going to be able to hear Marissa tell us if that's working or not.
I don't know what the heck. What W. Do you have my brusher over there on the laptop? Thanks. Still there, Marissa? Are we up and running, or can you tell? It usually takes a little bit. One. Marissa, you might check that and then let us know, like in the first break, if it's streaming or not, okay? Sometimes it takes a long time for it to show up on that YouTube. And then you have Mike's number, correct?
You can text me.
If we go off the air, text him, because I'm having to use my phone. Oh, welcome everybody to Galena, Kansas and Bulldog Country, where tonight the St. Paul Lady Indians boys travel to Galena for one of the longer road travel games. This game is rescheduled to tonight. Obviously, it was scheduled towards the end of the season, but the athletic director and the coaches decided they both had an open date, and instead of playing 3 games right before sub-state, they moved this Galena game to tonight, which kind of works out for everybody, as this was going to be an off night for the Indians, and now it is filled with Galena. And then next week we'll have a full schedule with Tuesday, at Marmonton Valley, and then Friday at Frontenac. And then we roll right into that mid-season Southeast tournament the week after that. So a busy time coming up. The Lady Indians come in undefeated on the season. Did not shoot particularly well Tuesday night against Southeast, but still come up with a good victory, mostly based off that pestering man-to-man defense that the Indians are, Mr. Tuck and Coach Burke and the Lady Indians are famous for. Is it has been man-to-man defense from the tip until the finish for the last several years. So look for the Lady Indians to try to stay perfect on the season tonight here at Galena. Be one of their tougher tasks, as Galena be a nice opponent, and then the boys will be in the second game tonight. Galena boys come in, I believe, 5-2, and the Indians come in 5-1. So I hope that'll be a good matchup. Indians playing up in competition a little bit here tonight, Mike.
Yeah, like you said, one of the longer road trips we have for basketball. Really not anything compared to some of the trips we had to take during football season, but still, especially for an early evening game here, it's kind of a long run down here to Galena, but they've really got a nice gymnasium down here, nice facilities. We have noticed that the few times we've been down here before, and it's no different tonight. We've got pretty good setup, nice floor, nice gym, and I think the Lady Indians are down here ready to play. They're going to come down and have a little bit of a battle against a bigger school from maybe what they will play most of the time during the rest of the season, but that's one of the things Coach Tuck likes to do, come out and try to play a few of these CNC schools and some of the local bigger schools to get the girls used to some of that higher level competition. And I think that pays off later on in the season, especially when it comes down to sub-state and they start seeing some of the teams they don't really see very much of during the year. They're not so surprised, and that's one of the things that's nice to have the ability to schedule some of these non-conference games with some of these schools that are close by enough that you can just come down and have a game on a Tuesday or a Friday and get back and then learn from that. So I think they do a good job of that. Like you said, also the defense that St. Paul brings with them, definitely their strong suit. They've been a little bit cold, hot and cold, I guess you should say, in the shooting department and outside the three-point line. They've done fairly well earlier. They've really been probably the best at the free throw line. If they're able to penetrate the lane, draw the fouls, they're able to convert on those free throws, but they've been a little bit hot and cold from both the two-point and three-point range. We'll see what they did this week to maybe try and clean that up a little bit, and that'll be one of the things that we're watching for tonight.
I want to thank everybody for joining us to our Richie's Pharmacy pregame show here at Galena. And yeah, I should have misquoted a little bit ago. I should have said playing up in classification, not necessarily in competition. Some very good competition in what we've seen this year, but as Mike has just alluded to, I know Coach Tuck has always been fond of playing up in classification as much as he can during the year. He does it over the summer with the girls and doesn't mind taking a few lumps here and there. Just it does you good facing as stiff a competition as you possibly can all season long to make you better as the season goes along. So I want to thank everybody for joining Mike and I. And if you don't know, we're up streaming live on the internet. Just go to the 105.5 website and you click on the St. Paul Indian logo, and you should take you right to YouTube. So Mike and I will be streaming live on the internet. Same sponsors. We want to thank our exact same sponsors for sponsoring the live stream as we do the regular radio broadcast. So something new for Mike and I. We got more wires and plugs than we know what to do with up here, but
you never have to have a little on-the-job training for some of this technology, but we're wading through it. We got in here, and we've only done it 2 nights, but I think we did it faster tonight than we did on Tuesday, so we'll call it record time for setup tonight. Hopefully it's going to keep working. That's the other thing that may or may not happen, so if we go off, it won't be on purpose, and we'll try to get things fixed back up quick as we can. Hopefully we won't have to worry about that, but it's something new and exciting, and it wouldn't be possible without all the great sponsors that we have.
We're getting close to tip-off here in this ladies game, where St. Paul's going to take on Galena as they get ready to go over starting lineups. We'll see if they start with the national anthem or if they're going to start with the starting lineups. It appears as though they're going to go over starting lineups to start with, and they are. As they start with St. Paul, number 12, Sydney McCracken gets the start, and for Galena, number 3, Flowers, the senior, gets the start for the Bulldogs. Sydney Rice, a senior for the Lady Indians. Number 4, Dixon, a senior for the Bulldogs. For St. Paul, Caitlin O'Brien, one of the leaders on the team, leading scorer. Number 5 for Galena is Thrower. She is also a senior. So far 3 seniors on the floor for the Bulldogs. Emily Winter, one of the senior leaders, as well as Rice and O'Brien. And number 11 for the Bulldogs, Cox, the junior, gets the start. And last but not least, Katie Coombs, a young sophomore for the Indians, gets the start, as well as number 24, Jensen, gets the start. And we're getting set to get underway with the tip this year for this game. I want to thank everybody for joining Mike and I, as apparently no national anthem before the girls' game.
Not going to do that during the boys' game, maybe.
Do it before the boys game, so we're going to roll right into our tip-off. As the Lady Indians get set to start against the Bulldogs.
See what Coach Tuck dials up here to start this game off. He's going to have, let's see, looks like Sydney Rice. I think he went over the lineups. I was trying to get caught up on some of my stat stuff over here, but Sydney Rice, Sydney McCracken, Caitlin O'Brien, Emily Winter, and Katie Coombs starting out for the Lady Indians. All set out here at midcourt. Here we go, 8 minutes on the clock. Let's see if we can't get started here in Galena. There's the jump of the tip. The Indians control the tip. Sydney Rice bringing the ball up from half court. Passes over to Sydney McCracken at the left wing. She takes a look around. Caitlin O'Brien comes out front, passes it across to Emily Winter on the right wing, out to Coombs, back over to McCracken. McCracken takes the three-point shot. Actually, it's a pass inside. Came up short to Emily Winter. Kicked it back out now to Caitlin O'Brien around the left side. Pass inside to Sydney Rice. She drives the lane, draws the foul.
So Rice picks up the first foul of the game, driving into the lane. Thanks, Mike, as I was gathering up some paperwork here. As Rice drives into the lane, Indians being patient there on offense. As you see, Mike is well-rounded in his broadcasting career.
I don't know about that.
Man. Rice makes the first free throw, gets the Indians on the board first. That first foul is on number 5, Mike, for Galena, their first team foul. And Rice connects on the second and gives the Indians a 2-0 lead. 7:30 left to go here in the first quarter. Galena comes back down with the basketball. Off to the right wing, over in the corner. Three-point shot by number 5 is up on the way. That was Thrower on the shot. It is no good. Rice comes out of there with it, comes back down the court, down the right sideline. Off to the left wing to Winter. Three-pointer from the baseline. Up high, bounces around and rolls through. So a lot better start shooting from the outside as Winter connects on the first three for the Lady Indians. Now over into the corner to Thrower, back up top. Dribbles to the right, feeds it off to Flowers. Flowers gives it to Jensen. Jensen back up top to Dixon. Dixon drives into the lane, kicks it out to Thrower. Thought about the three, into the free throw line, boots it out. Good ball movement by the Bulldogs. Now off to the right wing, three-pointer on the way, off, no good. So far, the Bulldogs are 0 for 2. That shot taken by Jensen. And on the rebound was Emily Winter, and she is fouled on the rebound.
I think that foul's on Thrower. That'd be her second foul already.
And it is a second foul on Thrower. Second team foul on the Bulldogs. Now a little bit of 3-2 trap or a little full court man-to-man. High pass to McCracken. She reels it in from Rice. Feeds it back to Rice at the top of the key above the timeline. Right wing to McCracken. Screen set by Coombs. Now she rolls out, receives the ball, gives it off to O'Brien. Into the lane she goes, Euro steps, and is blocked, and it's going to be a jump ball, and that's going to be a change of possession and go to Galena on that change of possession. Cox gets set to put the ball in play. Feeds it into Jensen. She goes down to Dixon. Dixon gets bottled up by O'Brien. Man-to-man defense by the Indians. Now it's going to be a walk, a late travel call on Jensen. So a turnover on the Bulldogs gives it back to the Indians. Got official time for a little knee brace work by O'Brien. And a little forecourt pressure applied by the Bulldogs. 3 Bulldogs down here. If the Indians are aggressive here, they may be able to get some fast break points. They move it on down the lane. Off to the left wing is Winter. She ball fakes, drives towards the block, and now kicks it out to McCracken. Now back up top to O'Brien. Inside to Winter, and she loses it right through her hands. Good hard pass by O'Brien to Winter. She couldn't control it, and it goes out to Dixon on the rebound. Dixon gets held up, kicks it off to the left wing, Flowers. Over to Jensen. Jensen back up top to Cox. Over to the left wing is Flowers. Flowers into the lane, kicks it out. Thought about the baseline shot, now drives in towards the block, kicks it back out. Number 34 in the game for Galena is Stapleton. Stapleton kicks it out. Three-pointer on the way and off the rim, no good. So Galena not scared to shoot that three, but they are 0 for 3 from the outside on the three. O'Brien comes out of there with it. She's pestered out there by Dixon. Kicks it out to Rice. Rice drives in towards the lane, loses it, gets it stripped away by Cox. Cox all the way down. O'Brien down there gets way underneath the rim, and it's going to be a foul on O'Brien. As O'Brien probably didn't need to make much contact, Cox got way too far underneath the rim. Shot is no good, but she'll go to the line, and she is fouled by O'Brien. Team foul number 1 on the Indians, first on O'Brien. Cox settles in, first shot on its way, and good. Our tip-off sponsor was brought to you by Styles Fitness and more. Our title sponsor for the night is Farmers Bank. She connects on her first, cuts the score to 5-1. Second shot on its way, rattles in there, good, 5-2. And we got a sub coming in as Taylor Wattrick and Emily Hutcherson comes in for the Lady Indians. Winter and McCracken's going to get a break. So we got Coombs, Rice, O'Brien, Hutcherson, and Wattrick in the game. Wattrick banged up her left wrist a little bit the other day at Tuesday night's game, but no brace or anything on it, so she looks good. As Emily Hutcherson, who just come in the game, thought O'Brien was going towards the rim. Bounce pass goes out of bounds. So turnover on the Indians, gives it back to Galena. Jensen fires the ball down court to Stapleton. Stapleton back up top to Cox. Cox dribbles to the right. Now stripped away by O'Brien. Two defenders back for Galena. O'Brien all the way down, gets it swatted out of bounds again. Swatted out of bounds that time by number 24, Jensen, but he'll stay with the Indians. It was out on the Bulldogs. 5-2. Indians up by 3. 4:27 left to go here in the first quarter. Rice looking for somebody to get open. Finally feeds it in to Wattrick. Wattrick down to the corner to Rice. Rice looks inside for Coombs. Nobody not open, so she kicks it out to Hutcherson. Over the left wing to O'Brien. O'Brien dribbles back to the top of the key, now towards the free throw line. Kicks it out to Coombs. Over to Hutcherson. Hutcherson dribbles to her left. Now a good feed to Wattrick inside. Feeds it to Coombs. Little bunny shot. Good from the left to block. Good ball movement by the Lady Indians, finding the open person, Katie Coombs. Flowers feeds it out of bounds. Turnovers on the Bulldogs as number 12, Johnson, comes into the game for Flowers, the senior. 3:56 left to go in the first. 7-2. Indians lead by 5. Wattrick with the ball. Comes across half court. Feeds to right wing to Rice. Rice feeds it to Coombs as the Indians run their motion offense against this man-to-man pressure applied by the Bulldogs. Wattrick back up top to Rice. Three-pointer long, top of the key, off the rim, no good. Tipped up in the air by Hutcherson. Ball's on the floor. O'Brien comes out of it. She's tripped, and it is going to be a foul on Galena. That foul's going to be on Jensen. Team foul number 3. First on Jensen. Emily Winter comes back to the scorer's table for the Indians, as well as McCracken. Now Coombs and Rice is going to get a break for the Lady Indians. St. Paul's basketball. Wattrick puts the ball in play to McCracken. Now back to Wattrick. Wattrick to Hutcherson over the left wing to McCracken. Looks inside, now dribbles the top of the key, reverses it back to Wattrick. Wattrick crosses over. Couple ball fakes, cross-court pass to McCracken. Cross-court pass all the way across to O'Brien. Looks to drive the baseline, gets cut off. Now she spins. Nice spin move. She makes it, and she's fouled.
Well, it was a nice move by Caitlin O'Brien. She drove from the side of the lane in there, past the defender, put a spin move on her, and then drew the foul and made the basket.
Dixon on the foul. Dixon quick on the defense, but O'Brien got her to bite towards the block and spun towards the baseline with a beautiful move as she completes the three-point play. 10-2, Indians up by 8, 3:05 left to go here in the first. Wattrick pesterns Jensen. She kicks it to the right wing now up top. Reverses it to Stapleton. Back to Jensen. Tries to drive on Wattrick. Kicks it out to Dixon. Dixon back up top to Johnson, who just come in the game a little bit ago. Johnson got in a little bit of trouble, but she gets it away to Stapleton. She's going to be fouled. Oh,
nope, stepped out. But that's out of bounds. I think on the out of bounds line where she dribbled the ball might have saved Caitlin O'Brien another foul.
Coombs right back to the scores table. She comes in for O'Brien. Coach Tuck running a 7-man rotation currently, getting everybody a little break here and there. Watrick against the press, feeds it off to McCracken, now back to Watrick, now over to Hutcherson. Crosses the half court, drives in, all the way in, little 10-foot jump shot, short, no good. Rebound Stapleton. She feeds it ahead to Cox. Cox cut off by a couple Indians. Back to Dixon, now over to Johnson at the left wing, up to Stapleton. She's guarded out there by Katie Coombs. Hands it off to Dixon. She loses it for a minute, recovers up above the timeline, picked up out there by Hutcherson. Gives it off to Stapleton at the right wing, back up top to Johnson. Johnson over to Stapleton, back up top to Dixon. Dixon guarded by Hutcherson, now off to Stapleton towards the right baseline, now up to Thrower. Cox. Cox to Johnson. Johnson to Stapleton. Stapleton drives towards the free throw line, kicks it off the left wing to Johnson. Good defense by the Indians. Stapleton with the basketball. She's cut off. She hands it off to Dixon, drives towards the baseline, kicks it back out top. Now over the left wing to Cox. Cox drives to the elbow, feeds it off to Dixon at the baseline, over to Johnson. This is like a long tennis volley here, Mike. Oh, Johnson's open all the way towards the lane. Now she's cut off as she lost it, and she's going to get bailed out by a foul as the Indians got a little too aggressive after that long defensive stand.
Well, they had them sealed off there. They could not penetrate the ball past the free throw line.
Johnson had a lane to drive in, but she could not get the handle on the basketball. As Galena's going to have the ball underneath her own basket, feeds it into Stapleton, back out to Cox. Cox left-handed shot's good, and she's fouled. Good hard drive by Cox, and she gets the bucket and the foul. So the long possession that was continued pays off for the Bulldogs. First on Katie Coombs, third on the Lady Indians. 1:12 left to go in the first as Cox makes a free throw. 10-5, 5-point lead for the Lady Indians. McCracken's with the ball against Johnson. Drives out of the trap, gives it to Hutcherson. Hutcherson crosses half court, feeds it back to McCracken. McCracken towards the lane, kicks it out to Coombs, now back up top to Hutcherson. Into the lane she goes, loses the ball. Now she puts it up, good shot underneath the basket on the right side. Tough angle, but she got the layup to go. Stapleton with the basketball for Galena. Hands off, knocked out of bounds, and it's going to be off the Indians as Jensen drove towards the basket and went off the Lady Indians. The Bulldogs will keep it as Cox holds the number one up in the air for the inbounds play. Johnson over to Jensen, now back to Johnson. Johnson holds it to the left wing position. Finally gets it off to Dixon. She's going to be cut off in the corner. Over to Johnson, drives towards the right. Up, shot up, no good. Knocked out of bounds. It's going to be, looked like it was off of Johnson, but they said it was off of the Lady Indians, so it'll stay with Galena. Cox under Galena's basket with crawling in the inbounds play. Count is on. Finally feeds it in. It's going to be off of. It's going to stay with Galena.
Not sure who that was off of. Must have been off of Watrick down there by the baseline.
Cox with the basketball, feeds it up top to Stapleton. Stapleton over to Jensen. Jensen with a couple ball fakes, and finally the good defense pays off for the Lady Indians as it's a turnover on Galena. She throws it out of bounds. Little four-court man-to-man. They kind of a trap and then back into a man-to-man defense. Up to Coombs. Now it gives back to Watrick. Watrick thought somebody was on the right side and nobody home. Throws it right to Stapleton for Galena, and that's going to be a foul. Nope, it's going to be a walk on Stapleton. Katie Coombs with a little contact. I thought they was going to call a foul, but it ends up being a travel on Stapleton as she looks to be a little shaken up over there on the sideline.
Yeah, I think Watrick on that turnover was driving down the lane and was going to dump it outside to, I'm not sure who she thought was out there, but she looked out there and they weren't there, but she'd already started her throwing motion, and wasn't able to hang on to the ball before it came out of her hands.
The bad part was there was a Lady Indian right underneath the basket,
Yeah.
open, but she didn't see him, so we got a timeout on the floor for the injury. We're going to go ahead and take a quick 30-second timeout. You're listening to St. Paul Indian basketball on Hot 105. Welcome back to Galena, Kansas, as there's 0.9 seconds left in the first quarter. Lady Indians basketball, baseball pass goes right out of bounds as Hutcherson threw a baseball pass, but it went straight down the line and straight out of bounds. Didn't give Katie Coombs a chance to catch it, so now Galena's going to have the basketball with just a little less than a second left. They'll have time to get a dribble and a shot off, so that didn't work out for the Lady Indians. See if the Indians can hold here. Gets it into Jensen, and she does not get the shot off. So at the end of the first quarter, 12-5, Indians up by 7. We'll be back after this 1-minute timeout. You're listening to St. Paul Indian basketball on Hot 105. Yeah, welcome back to Galena, Kansas, Bulldog Country, as the Lady Indians lead 12-5 after the first quarter. The Indians will start with possession of the basketball. That timeout brought to you by the St. Paul Supermarket. Want to make sure everybody knows that we are streaming live on the internet. If you go to 105.5 on the website, as a shot inside by O'Brien, up and in, and click on the St. Paul Indian logo, it should take you right to YouTube, streaming live. As Galena back down with the basketball, Indians lead 14-5, just underway here in the second. Up top to Jensen. Jensen drives to the right. Three-point shot from the right wing, off the back iron, no good, but rebound by Flowers. Flowers kicks it out to Dixon, shot on the way, no good, and rebound Katie Coombs. Hutcherson pushes the ball back down the floor. She's cut off down there by Dixon, feeds it out to Coombs, now to Rice, who's in the game. McCracken, cross-court pass to Hutcherson. Hutcherson, cross-court pass to O'Brien, left wing, inside to Coombs. She turns, double team down there, and she's going to get called for the travel. I don't know if she drug her right foot or not. Got tied up a little bit, two defenders right when Katie tried to turn around. Got her tied up, and she drug her foot a little bit apparently, and traveled, so the turnover goes back to Galena. Left wing, Cox with the ball, feeds it back up top to Flowers. Now over to Dixon, tries to drive the baseline. Hutcherson ends up on the floor. Three-point shot by Jensen, in and out, no good. Rebound Johnson, and up and in. Or excuse me, that was Cox with the rebound, I believe. No, maybe it was Johnson. Sorry, Mike.
It'll be all right.
Rice with the basketball, comes down hard cross timeline, goes off someone's foot. And it's going to be off of McCracken's because she got a little bit out of control there. She had a defender right there on her, got to going too fast, right off her leg and out of bounds. So another turnover gives it back to Galena, 14-7. Indians up by 7. Jensen with the basketball. Cut off by Rice. Right wing over to Flowers. Flowers cut off by O'Brien at the baseline. Feeds it back up top. Shot on the way by Dixon. Good.
Three-pointer. Ways out there.
And now all of a sudden it's a 4-point game. Couple turnovers by the Indians. Couple good shots by the Bulldogs. And the ball's on the floor. And Rice almost turns it over again. Hutcherson got numbers. Gets poked by her. And it's going to be a foul on Flowers. 14-10. Lady Indians up by 4. 5:51 left to go here in the first quarter. Going to be Indians basketball under their own rim. 15 foul on Galena. First on Flowers. Just 3 team fouls on the Lady Indians. Watrick holds the basketball. Looks inside. Nobody open. Now feeds it up top. And it's going to be out of bounds off of White's going to stay with the Lady Indians. Might have been a break for the Lady Indians.
I don't think either official really saw it.
Bad pass by Hutcherson on the inbounds, and she's going to come out of the game as Katie Carter checks into the game for Hutcherson, and another turnover on the Lady Indians, so the Bulldogs have a chance to cut this lead of 4 down to 1 or 2 with a made basket. Jensen back down with the basketball, right wing. Over to Flowers. Now back up top to Cox. Cox feeds it out to Johnson. Johnson drives into the lane. Shot on the way. Short. They're going to give her the foul. And she's going to go to the line to shoot 2. Galena, the more aggressors right now, and cut down on the turnovers and got a chance to cut into this Lady Indian 4-point lead. It was as many as 7.
They call that on Caitlin O'Brien.
Second on her, 4th on the Lady Indians as Katie Coombs comes back to the scores table as Johnson settles in at the line. Her first shot on the way off the back iron, no good. Coombs comes in for O'Brien, who's just picked up her second foul. Johnson settles in at the free throw line. It's on its way and in there. So a 3-point ball game. Lady Indians lead by 3, 14-11 as Galena set up in their full court press. Kind of a 3-1-1 press, but they kind of back down into a man-to-man if the Indians break the press. Katie Coons with it, feeds it off to Rice. Indians need to push this up and get some numbers. Winner with the ball as the Indians break the press. Now a little drop back into a zone now. A little matchup zone by Galena. Outside to Rice. Drives the baseline. Nice little baseline drive. Misses the shot. And foul underneath. And that's going to be another foul on the Lady Indians. It's going to go back to Galena. See who this foul is on.
Call that on Sydney Rice.
It's going to be on Rice as she went after her own rebound. Her first, team foul number 5 on the Indians. So 5 team fouls on each team. A little bit of dry spell on offense for the Indians the last few possessions here. Good crossover by Galena. Feeds it out to Jensen into the lane. Shot on the way, no good. And Coombs fighting for the rebound, knocked out of bounds by Galena. Go back to the Lady Indians. 4:50 left to go here in the first half. 14-11. Lady Indians cling to a 3-point lead. Rice with the basketball, looking at that trap-style press. Count is on now. She picks up her dribble and don't really have anywhere to go with it. Gets it off to Watrick. Watrick pushes it down to Carter. Carter drives in, now kicks it back out to Watrick. Watrick at the top of the key with the basketball. Couple ball fakes, crosses over. Right wing to Carter. Carter looks inside, feeds it up top to Rice. Now inside to Winter. Back out to Coombs. 3-point shot by Coombs. Off the rim, no good. Rebound on the floor, loose, and Dixon comes out there with it for Galena. Feeds it off to Jensen. Jensen pulls up at the right wing. Ball fake. Shot on the way, partially blocked by Winter. That shot put up by Flowers. Watrick back down. Hesitation all the way in for the drive. No good on the layup. Rebound, Galena. Right back down comes Cox. Feeds it ahead to Dixon. Looks inside, now kicks it out. Back to Cox. Over to Stapleton. Stapleton cut off. Now she's going to travels. Yeah, I was hoping it was a travel. I thought he was going to call foul.
I did too.
She got the ball pinned up against her leg and spun around and ended up traveling with the basketball as Johnson comes back in for Galena. Rice with the basketball. Johnson picks her up. Now over to Watrick. Indians very patient against this press. Now to Winter. Winter, bad pass. Knocked out of bounds by Flowers. Pretty lazy pass by Winters. Luckily, Flowers just knocked it out of bounds, so it'll stay with the Lady Indians. Watrick with the basketball, feeds it back to Rice. Now Galena matches up in their man-to-man, feeds it off the left wing to Watrick. Watrick with a bad pass as Coombs bobbed when she should have weaved. And Watrick throws it right out of bounds as McCracken comes back in for Carter.
Indians seem to be just a little bit out of sync now, not exactly having the chemistry that they normally have, knowing what the next person's going to do. It's just a little bit out of kilter for them tonight.
3:26 left to go here in the first half. 14-11. Indians with the 3-point lead. Stapleton back to Jensen. Now to Johnson in the lane. Backdoor pass. Shot on the way. No good. That should be over the back on Johnson. No call. And it's going to go out of bounds on her and go to the Lady Indians. Rice with the basketball. Feeds it into Watrick. Watrick back to Rice. Rice over to McCracken. McCracken back to Watrick as they get it across half court, up above the timeline. Watrick with a lot of contact. It's going to be a foul on Flowers. Team foul number 6 on the Bulldogs. Second on Flowers. 2:58 left to go here in the first half. 14-11. Lady Indians up by 3 with possession of the basketball as Watrick set to put the ball in play from the right sideline. Feeds it back into Rice. Rice picked up by Jensen. Over the left wing to McCracken. Gives it up to Watrick. Almost a steal by Galena. Feeds it back to Rice, and she turns it over and throws it into Stapleton, and she's tried to save it. So the Indians a little out of sync right now. Dixon into the lane. Kicks it out to Stapleton. Now over to Johnson. 3-point shot from the right wing. Short, no good. Katie Coombs chases it down. Feeds it back to Watrick. Watrick pushes it across the timeline. Hesitates, and she's going to get called for a double dribble on that hesitation. And another turnover on the Lady Indians. Gives it right back to the Bulldogs. 14-11. 2:27 left to go here in the first half. Johnson feeds it into Dixon. Dixon over to Stapleton. Stapleton, now the ball's loose on the floor, but chased down there by Cox. Now back to Stapleton, who's picked up by Coombs. Jensen with it, pestered out there by Rice. Screen set by Johnson. She ends up on the floor, all the way down, back. Reverse layup is good by Jensen. It's a 1-point ball game. That's going to be out on Galena. No, it's going to be out on Hutcherson, and gives it back to the Bulldogs, as that was knocked, to me, like out.
That's why those got knocked out of her hand, but
as another turnover on the Lady Indians. I mean, the Indians' offense been stuck on 14 most of this quarter. Dixon with the basketball. Over to McCracken. McCracken almost turns it over, gets to Hutcherson. She's knocked down. She's going to go line and shoot the front end of 1-1. 17th foul on Galena. And we don't really know what's going on with our live stream with the camera. It looks like a bunch of bunny rabbits running around out there every once in a while.
It's got a little bit of a skip to it, it looks like.
As it appears to be caught back up now, as Hutcherson is going to go to the line to shoot the front end of a 1-1. Indians lead by 1, 14-13. 1:06 left to go here in the first quarter. She lines up for her first, and it crawls over the front of the rim and goes in. Gives the Indians a 2-point lead, 15-13. 1:06 left to go here in the first half. Hutcherson settles in for her second shot. It's on its way and right through there and good. Indians up by 3. Jensen back down with the ball for Galena. Gives it off to Cox, off to Johnson, to Dixon. Dixon into the lane, kicks it out. Ball's on the floor. Rice hustles for it, still on the floor, and Galena comes back up with it. Dixon with the ball, couple ball fakes picked up out there by Hutcherson. Gets it off left wing to Cox. Cox over to Johnson as Rice ends up on the floor again. Dixon goes towards the block. Now a three-point shot on the way and good by Jensen, and she's tied the ball game at 16. Rice with the basketball, 25 seconds left to go. Coons picked up out there by, now she turns around, she gets it stripped away from her, and now it's going to be a jump ball. And the possession arrow goes to Galena with 18.4 seconds left to go in the first half. 16-16. Score is tied. Galena with the ball with 18 seconds left. Jensen with the ball picked up by Rice. Shot from the baseline on its way. In and out, no good. Rebound, Johnson. 5 seconds left in the lane. Back out Johnson. Shot from the free throw line off the backboard. Good. So the Bulldogs are going to lead by 2 here at halftime. 18-16.
That was number 20, Kraus.
Oh, excuse me. So here at halftime, Lady Indians in rare territory. They trail by 2. We'll be back after this 2-minute timeout. You're listening to St. Paul Indian basketball on Hot 105. Marissa, I'm going to hang up and call you back. All right. All right, we're back. Hey, welcome back to Galena, Kansas, where the Lady Indians trail by 2, 18-16 here under halfway. I want to thank everybody for joining us to our halftime show, St. Paul Tire and Lube, as the Lady Indians pretty stymied in that second quarter. For most of the second quarter, did not score very many points. Galena come back. Indians had as much as a 7-point lead. Lady Indians come back. Galena comes back and now leads by 2 here at halftime, 18-16, just underway here at halftime. So Coach Tuck and the Lady Indians going to have to make some adjustments here at halftime, Mike.
Going to be a little bit of an adjustment for sure. It's an unusual situation for them to be in here at halftime of a game, going in with a not having the lead and normally a pretty good-sized lead. So a little bit new territory for them as they come out here in the second half. I'm sure one of the things that they're going to talk about is trying to figure out how to run that offense. That's what they really struggle with. The connections just haven't been there, and it's really hurt them on the turnovers. They've got 11 turnovers in the first half, and the majority of those haven't been so much because of the strong and stout defense of Galena, but moreover because of the lack of chemistry between the girls playing on offense. They're throwing passes to people that aren't there, and they're just making some mental mistakes. And so I'm sure that's what one of the big conversations they're having in there at halftime. Other than that, haven't really had a lot of good looks, haven't put up a lot of shots compared to what we've seen in some other games earlier in the year. And we've seen, quite a bit bigger numbers at halftime, but they've only been able to put 16 points on the board here in the whole first half tonight.
Caitlin O'Brien did spend most of that second quarter on the bench with 2 fouls, so she'll come out fresh here in the second half. She leads the Lady Indians with 5 points, as we will go over full stat sheet here in just a minute as the boys are out on the court warming up. Galena boys and St. Paul boys warming up, stretching out here at halftime. When we come back from this next break, we're going to bring you all the stats from the first half as well as get you set for the second half start of this game where the Lady Indians trail here at Galena 18-16 at halftime. We'll be back after this 2-minute timeout. It is St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Well, welcome back to Galena, Kansas, and our St. Paul Tire and Lube halftime show where the Lady Indians trail by 2, 18-16. And, Mike, what do you got for first half stats?
Well, we talked about it before the break a little bit. Caitlin O'Brien not really getting a lot of playing time. Had a couple fouls on her, and so it kept her on the bench for part of the second quarter. And she had a little trouble there getting back onto the floor, and it's really shown in the way the score sheet lined up because Caitlin has 5 points. The good news for Kaylin is that's leading all St. Paul scorers in the first half with 5. Followed up with her was Emily Hutcherson, came in off the bench and put in a lot of time in the first half. Emily Hutch had 4. Emily Winter with 3 in the first half. Sydney Rice with 2 and Katie Coombs with 2, and that's been the extent of the scoring in the first half for the Lady Indians. Looking across the board, they were 4 for 7 in their 2-point shots. That's 50% if you go by percentages. At 3 points, they were 1 of 3 for 33% from outside the 3-point line. They were also 100%. They were 5 of 5 from the free throw line. Talked about that in the pregame show a little bit, that they have been able to convert when they get a chance to get to the free throw line. Problem's been the turnovers. They had 11 turnovers in the first half compared to 8 for Galena. On Galena's side of the ball, they were led by Madison Cox with 5 points. Also, J.C. Jensen had 5 for Galena. Lindsey Dixon with 3, and Emerson Johnson with 3, and Briley Krause with the 2-pointer at the buzzer there at the end of the first half. Galena's only had 8 turnovers, and really they committed some fouls, but they were kind of, came at a good time. I guess if there's a good time for a foul, it really didn't hurt them too much, and that's got them in here at halftime with this 2-point lead.
About 2/3 of that second quarter is really the Indians had built up to a 7-point lead, but at the turning point, well, I don't want to say the turning point, but this full court man-to-man pressure that Galena's applying I don't want to say really give the Indians fits, but it slowed them down to where it has slowed their offense against their fast break. The only time they don't really have a chance, and they're being real methodical about getting the ball across half court when there's 3 Lady Bulldogs down on this end of the court. I'd like to see maybe if Sydney Rice here at a halftime will be a little more aggressive in breaking that press and get some numbers down the court, as O'Brien will start on the court. Indians trail by 2. I want to say it's the first time this year they've trailed here at halftime, but it's got to be real close to it if it hasn't been. So Indians will start with possession of the basketball. 8 minutes on the clock here in the third quarter, 18-16. Indians trail by 2. McCracken feeds it in to Rice. Now back to McCracken. McCracken up to Coombs. Coombs over to O'Brien. O'Brien playing here 2 fouls. 10-foot jump shot by O'Brien. Crawls off the rim. No good. Dixon with the rebound for Galena. She feeds it off to Flowers. Now to the baseline. McCracken lets her drive the baseline. She misses it, but she's fouled as a wide open baseline drive by number 11, Cox, gets her to the free throw line to try to expand this 2-point lead. Just underway here in the second quarter. Galena leads by 2. She makes the first. (19-16). They're up by 3. I don't know what you're trying to tell me, Mike. Just will say it.
Well, I'm not trying to say anything about lose our video, I think.
As O'Brien feeds it into Rice. Back to McCracken. Over to O'Brien. O'Brien breaks the press to Coombs. Coombs turns around above the timeline, feeds it back to Rice. Galena leads by 4, 20-16. Feed inside and right through the hands of Katie Coombs. Saved by Rice. Nice save by her as it looked to be a turnover against the Indians. She has it poked out of bounds, so it goes back to the Indians. Rice with the basketball, up to O'Brien. O'Brien over to McCracken. McCracken to the right wing to Coombs. Coombs up top to Rice. Rice at right wing. Feeds it over to the corner. Now inside, turnaround shot. Tough shot by O'Brien. Gets it to go and the foul. Cuts the lead to 2 by Galena as she will try to cut into this 2-point lead here with this free throw.
Fouls on Dixon.
First team foul on the Bulldogs in the second half. Second on Dixon. And O'Brien makes the free throw. So immediately, Caitlin O'Brien makes an impact in his second game. 20-19, Bulldogs up by 1. Dixon with the ball, has it poked away by Rice. It's loose on the floor. Rice, good hustle. Chases that ball down, spins around, shoots, no good. Gets her own rebound. Putback is good, and she's fouled.
That was just all Sydney Rice on the turnover and the basket. the rebound, and now the chance for a three-point play.
It's all hustle by Rice, just flat out hustling the Bulldogs for the ball. Second foul on Cox as Rice free throw is up and off the rim, no good. Almost a double dribble as we lead by one. Indians lead by one off of Rice's bucket. Dixon at right wing with the basketball, puts a ball fake, drives towards the free throw line. Now gives it to Cox. Cox kicks it out to number 5. Ball fake up, and that's Thrower in the game. Now shot from the elbow by Dixon, and is tipped and chased down by Emily Winter. Feeds it off to Rice. Rice behind the back dribble above the timeline. Puts the ball stop on as it was tipped. Looked like a possible double dribble, but it's tipped by Galena. Now gets it up to Coombs. Over to the corner to Rice. Sets her feet. Three-point shot by Rice. In and out. No good. That was halfway down. Feet ahead to Cox. Cox on the left-handed layup is no good, but she's going to be fouled by Rice.
Sydney Rice coming out here in the second half playing on a mission.
As Cox lines up for 2 free throws. Indians lead by 1, 21-20. Shot is up and good. As Cox settles in for her second shot. 21-21, score is tied. As Cox lines up, second shot is in and out, no good. That was the old toilet bowl shot. Rolled around the rim twice and rolled off. So it is 21-21. 5:40 left to go in the third. Feed inside to Winter. Winter gets cut off. Almost gets tied up. Feeds it back to Watrick. Over the left wing to McCracken. McCracken feeds it up top to Rice. Now over to Watrick at the right wing. Now feed into O'Brien. Ball fake, shot up, and she's going to be fouled and go to the line to shoot 2. As she is fouled by Thrower. Third team foul on Galena. Third on Thrower.
Lady Indians coming out a lot more aggressive here in the second half, really moving the ball towards the basket and going for those shots underneath.
O'Brien lines up, first shot on its way and right through there and good. As Johnson checks in for Galena for Thrower, who's just picked up her third foul. 1 point lead for the Lady Indians, 22-21, as O'Brien settles in for her second. It's on its way and in and out, no good. Winter with the rebound, put back, good. Good job by Emily Winter on the offensive board on the free throw. Gives the Indians a 3-point lead. Right back down comes Jensen. Back up over to Dixon. Dixon hands back to Jensen. Drives towards the lane. Down the baseline. Feed to Johnson. 10-foot jump shot off the bank. Good. That passes to nobody. And turnover on the Indians gives it back to Galena. As Galena just still playing hard. And the Indians kind of standing flat-footed at the moment. Now they get back in their defense. Dixon with the ball. Feeds it back to Jensen. Good backdoor feed. Shot no good by Flowers, excuse me. Now O'Brien all the way into the lane. Shot up. Good. No good. But she's fouled. Good. Hard move by O'Brien. Caitlin O'Brien all the way to the rim. And now she'll go to the line to shoot 2. The Lady Indians lead by 1, 24-23. 4:33 left to go here in the third quarter. O'Brien shot up on its way and right through there and good. As Coombs and Hutcherson check into the game for Winter and Rice. O'Brien settles in for her second shot. And it's up and on its way and good. I want to thank everybody for joining us for our St. Paul Tire and Lube halftime show. Stapleton with the ball, feeds it up top to Dixon. Dixon over to Cox, and it's going to be a foul on the floor on the Lady Indians. So it'll stay with Galena under their own basket. We'll see who this foul's on. It'll be the third team foul on the Lady Indians. All our timeout sponsors are brought to you by the St. Paul Supermarket. I want to thank all our sponsors for our radio broadcast and our live stream. If you want to watch the live stream and listen to the live stream, just get on 105.5, click on the St. Paul Indian logo, and it'll take you right to YouTube and the live stream. Galena with the ball, moving it around the wing. Stapleton back up top to Jensen. Jensen over to the right wing, shot on his way from the baseline, off the back iron, no good. Watrick with the rebound. Watrick comes down the right side, gets it to Hutcherson. Hutcherson and
drag her foot.
Drag her feet and travel. Turnover on the Lady Indians. That's where you get programmed into the offense and think somebody's just going to be standing there ready to take that pass, and you look up and there's a defender there. And then it's too late to change your mind, and Hutcherson caught in that position, drug her foot. Dixon with the ball for Galena. 3:40 left to go here in the third. Indians up by 3. Cox with it, feeds it out to Stapleton. And there's a travel on the floor by Jensen as she put the ball fake on and drug her left foot before the ball was on the floor, as Rice is going to check right back in for McCracken. St. Paul basketball. Here comes the Galena press on the dead ball, as O'Brien feeds it into Watrick. Over to Rice. Rice looks towards the middle, puts a ball fake, gives it back to Watrick, over to O'Brien. O'Brien, count is on. The Indians need to get it across half court, and do just in time. Rice with the basketball, drives towards the elbow, kicks it out to Hutcherson, sets her feet, three-point shot, long, no good. Rebound, Katie Coombs, put back, no good. Rebound, Johnson for the Bulldogs, and I believe that's going to be a third foul on Caitlin O'Brien on the late call underneath, as O'Brien's going to pick up her third.
Yep, that is.
14th foul on the Indians, and that's going to bring her out of the game, as Emily Winter is going to go back in with 3:05 left to go here in the third.
Rough possession there for the Lady Indians. Missed a 3, missed a 2, and Caitlin O'Brien with her third foul, and no points to show for any of it.
Cox comes back in the game for Dixon. Jensen with the basketball for the Bulldogs. Picked up out there by Rice above the timeline. 14 fouls on each team. Johnson with the screen. Hard screen.
I guess so.
Number 22 for Sullivan is in the game for the Bulldogs now. Over to the left wing to Cox. Drives the baseline. Tough shot on the way. Short, no good. Rebound and put back up and in there by Sullivan. It's a good job on the offensive boards by her. Back to Rice. Rice picks up her dribble, gets it back to Watrick. Watrick at the ball fake, and she's going to be fouled out there by Jensen. 15 foul on Galena. Second on Jensen, as Dixon's going to come back in for Jensen, who's just picked up her second. 26-25, Lady Indians up by 1. Caitlin O'Brien back on the bench. Lady Indians going to have to try to get some offense going without O'Brien, as she picked up her third foul with about 3 minutes left to go in this third. Katie Coons with the ball, gives it off to Hutcherson. Feed inside to Watrick, back out to Winter, sets her feet, three-point shot on the way, short, no good. Watrick chases it down, gets, they're going to call her, good hustle by Taylor Watrick, and a late call. Out of bounds on the baseline. She swatted the ball back inbounds to Winter, but it was out. Apparently, foot was on the baseline, so Galena with the ball with a chance to take the lead in the game. Dixon with the basketball against Rice. Gets it off to Stapleton. Over to Sullivan. Sullivan to Cox. Cox drives towards the elbow, kicks it out to Dixon. Dixon in towards the block, kicks it out to Sullivan, now to Stapleton. Now feed inside, tipped up in the air and out of bounds on Hutcherson. Emily with good hustle there. 1:50 left to go in the third, 26-25. Indians up by 1. Indians trailed by 2 at half. Stapleton, 15-foot shot off the rim, no good. Rice with the rebound. There we go, pushes the ball up the floor, all the way into the rim. Shot up and no good, just off the side of the rim, but she's fouled. She'll go to the line to shoot 2. They're going to call it on the floor. Well, how was that on the floor?
I'm not sure, unless they caught her knee when she was driving through the lane, maybe.
On the floor, all up in there on the inbounds to Coombs. 16 foul on Galena. Hutcherson inside, and it's going to be a jump ball as she gets tied up. Boy, it seems like every jump ball possession has gone to the Bulldogs.
Arrow stuck.
So the Indians still cling to their 1-point lead with 1:36 left to go here in the third. Cox feeds it into Dixon. 16 fouls on Galena, 4 on the Lady Indians. As Thrower comes back to scores table for Galena. Jensen with the basketball, pestered by Hutcherson out there. She ends up on the floor, and the ball does too. She recovers it, backside feed to Dixon. Dixon back up top to Stapleton, shot from the free throw line, in and out, no good. Chased down on the floor and chased down by Rice. She finally gets a handle on it. 1 minute left to go in the third, 26-25, Lady Indians by 1. Right wing to Winter. Feed inside to Coombs, ball's on the floor, and that tie-up's going to go back to the Lady Indians under the basket. As number 5, Jarrah Thrower checks back in, the senior for the Bulldogs. She comes in for Sullivan. Watrick with the basketball in her own rim, feeds it up top to Coombs. Coombs to Watrick. Watrick thought about the three, passed it up, over to Hutcherson. Hutcherson drives the baseline, a lot of contact, shot up, no good, but she's going to go to the line to shoot 2. As Thrower, who just come back in the game, just picked up her 4th foul.
That's her
and
4th
she's
foul
come
for Thrower,
right back out, as she was in the game for a total of about 10 seconds.
Yeah.
44.9 seconds left to go here in the third, 26-25. Indians up by 1. Hutcherson goes to the line to shoot 2. First shot on its way, off the back rim, no good. I think that's the first miss of the night from the free throw line for the Indians.
Brian missed one earlier too, so.
Okay, the second
That's the
free
second
throw.
one, but they haven't missed very many. They've been pretty good from the free throw
Why
line.
do you got to
when
be
they
so
get there.
critical on me, Mike? You're always so critical on me.
It's just the facts.
Hutcherson lines up for the second. I sure hope your stats are right. And she makes it. Gives the Indians a 2-point lead, 27-25. 2-point lead for the Lady Indians. Jensen with the ball. Kicks it to the right to Cox. Drives towards the baseline. Almost steps out of bounds. Gets it to Stapleton, up to Dixon. Dixon to the top of the key. Pestered out there by Rice. Cross-court pass over to Jensen. Jensen, and going to be a foul on Hutcherson. 15 foul on the Lady Indians.
One thing about it now, you can go back and check and watch our live stream as you replay it.
Thank everybody for listening here. How many fouls is that on Hutcherson?
That's
Mike?
2 on Hutch.
Just 2 on her. Galena with the basketball. Now tipped up in the air by Rice as she chases Dixon for it. Dixon comes up with it, and she travels good. Pestering defense by Rice causes that turnover, as O'Brien's going to come into the game with 18.5 seconds left to go in this third. On this offensive possession, needs to be extremely careful here not to pick up a 4th. Rice with the basketball under the rim, feeds it up to Winter. Now to O'Brien with 15 seconds left. O'Brien all the way to the rim, shot up, no good, but she's going to go to the line and shoot 2.
You knew if Caitlin got it anywhere near the free throw line, she was going to drive the lane and hit for the basket.
That foul on number 20, Johnson.
Kraus.
Kraus. And she lines up to shoot 2 as her rag ends up on the, or hat or something ends up on the court. Now they get it retrieved. I tell you, it's throwing me off. It's that Johnson and Kraus both have that blonde hair and ponytail.
Yeah.
And I just naturally think it was Johnson in there as O'Brien misses her first free throw. So the Indians has cooled off from the free throw line. 12.8 seconds left to go here in the third. O'Brien lines up for a second and puts it right through there. Dixon feeds it into Jensen. Dixon crosses over, feeds it off, almost a steal by Winter, and she's going to end up out of bounds. 3.7 seconds left to go here in the third. There's a good move by Coach Tuck, getting O'Brien back out of the game with 3.7. You don't want her to pick up a 4th foul with less than 4 seconds to go in the quarter. Stapleton with the basketball on the sideline. Looking for somebody, Count's going, and she gets it in to Cox. Cox feeds it to Dixon. Dixon fires up a three, short, off the rim, no good. So at the end of three, 28-25, Lady Indians up by 3. We'll be back after this 1-minute timeout. This is St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Welcome back to the live stream here. We are at our St. Paul Supermarket timeout in between quarters. 8 minutes left to go in this game. And welcome back to Galena, Kansas, 28-25. Galena is going to start with possession of the basketball here in the fourth quarter. Indians lead by 3. Indians trail by 2 at half, so take another quarter just like that one by the Lady Indians. Jensen with the basketball, cut off by Winter. 18 fouls on Galena, 5 on the Lady Indians. So Lady Indians going to have to make some free throws. Dixon three-point shot, no good. McCracken needs to turn around. And that's going to be a foul on her. She had no idea where the basketball was, and she got caught holding Cox as she went after the rebound because Sydney didn't have no idea where it was at. As Cox sets to put the ball in play, gets it into Johnson, now to Dixon. Dixon back to Cox. Cox back up top to Jensen. Jensen to Cox. Into the lane she goes. She's going to be fouled, and she makes the shot. So she has a chance to tie this ball game at 28 with 7:30 left to go in the game. 16 foul on the Lady Indians. Second, or no, excuse me, that was, I believe that
was foul on McCracken. That's her second.
Well, it says her fourth.
Fourth, but that's her second.
Well, she just picked up on. So was that her first just a second ago? She just picked up a foul about 10 seconds ago. Shot on his way, in and out, no good. Rebound, Winner. 7th team foul on the Lady Indians, 8 on the Bulldogs. Scoreboard shows 4 on Sydney McCracken, but
maybe I give her special treatment.
O'Brien with the ball, feeds it off to Hutcherson. Hutcherson off to Rice at right wing. Into O'Brien, she turns around right in front of the lane. Bank shot, good. Stapleton feeds it in to Jensen. 30-27, Lady Indians up by 3 again. Drives the baseline is Cox. Floater up and good. Twice in a row they've let Cox drive towards the lane, and she's making him pay as the help got there too late. Giving up that baseline drive. Tough shot. She has a chance to tie the ball game at 30 with 6:58 left to go here in the game.
That was on O'Brien. That's her fourth, too.
Fourth foul on Caitlin O'Brien. Trying to come over on that help defense. And Cox ties the ball game at 30. Coach Tuck leaves O'Brien in at the moment with 6:55 left to go in this game. Winner with the basketball. She's triple teamed out there. Gets it knocked away. Boy, that's where the Indians need to be aggressive. But 3 Bulldogs clear out there. Now feed inside to Winner. Turn around, she's bumped. And she's going to be on the floor. But she's going to go to the line to shoot the front end of 1-1. 19 foul on Galena. So Winner will be shooting the front end of a 1-1. Score is tied at 30. 6:41 left to go in the game as Katie Coombs comes to the scorer's table. And she's going to come in for O'Brien. See if the Lady Indians can, see if Winter can these free throws and see if the Lady Indians can hold on defense for a few possessions as Winter makes the first one while O'Brien is on the bench. 31-30. Lady Indians up by 1. 6:41 left to go in the game. 19 fouls on Galena, 8 on the Indians now. Second shot on its way. Off the back rim, no good. Up in the air. Dixon ends up on the floor, and they're going to call a foul on Coons. She went straight up in the air. Dixon lost her footing, but they're going to call a bump, so that's going to send her to the line. Shoot the front end of the 1-1, and now there's 19 foul on each team.
Yeah, I think she was just off balance on that play, just kind of fell over.
Second foul on Katie Coombs as Caitlin O'Brien comes back in. A little offense-defense here. See if the Indians can close out on this free throw. Dixon lines up for it. It's on its way, and off the rim, no good, but Johnson chases it down. So Galena gets another possession at it. And here comes Jensen. Shot no good. Rebound Coons. Hutcherson now with the basketball. Pushes it across the timeline. Feeds it back up top to Rice. O'Brien needs to post Dixon up. There it is into O'Brien. Shot up. Crawls over the rim. Good shot. Tough shot by Caitlin O'Brien. 33-30. Indians up by 3. 6:09 left to go in the game. Indians up by 3. Dixon with the ball. Pestered out there by Watrick. Now Jensen comes, sets the screen. She ends up with it. Drives towards the baseline. Feed to Cox as Hutcherson lets her man get away. Lost sight of her man. Good feed. Now it's a 1-point ball game.
Cox has really found something down there on that left block, the baseline.
Hutcherson feeds it to O'Brien. O'Brien over to Coombs. 15-foot jump shot off the rim. No good. Caitlin O'Brien with the rebound. Put back no good. Caitlin O'Brien to put back again, and she gets it, and that could have been an over the back on O'Brien. She got away with one there, Mike. 35-32, 3-point lead for the Indians. 5:35 left to go in this ball game. Timeout by Coach Tuck. 30-second timeout. We're going to go ahead and stay here as the Galena coach not happy with the ref for not calling the over the back on O'Brien, as this timeout sponsor is brought to you by the St. Paul's Supermarket. That's one of them balls where it's up in the air off the rim, and both girls was just going up for it. O'Brien just happened to be behind the Galena Bulldog, went straight up and got it, come back down, and see what Coach Tuck does in this timeout. 5:35 left to go in the game. Indians up by 3 as O'Brien comes out of the game. Winter goes back in, so right now it's Watrick, Rice, McCracken, Winter, and Coombs. Indians just want to play good, tough defense here with 9 team fouls. Make Galena, force them to take a tough shot. Galena real good. Don't turn the ball over too much. Real good at moving the basketball around.
Yeah, going to have to watch the basketball on that left side.
Feed over the thrower to the baseline. Ball fake against Winter. She's cut off by Coombs. Now Dixon. Back to Jensen on the backdoor feed. McCracken lost her again. Left-handed layup, good. Rice comes back down with the basketball, feeds it over to Watrick. 1-point game for the Indians, up to Coombs. Coombs feeds it to Winter, now over to McCracken. McCracken to Watrick. Watrick at the left wing. Feeds it inside to Winter, tough pass, left-handed shot, no good. Rebound Galena. Jensen right back down with the basketball. Tries to feed it to Johnson, about didn't see it. Recovers. Ball fake by Thrower. Back up top to Dixon, that's a 2-pointer. In and out, no good. Swatted around, chased down by Watrick. Good hands by Watrick as Coombs swatted that, end up in Watrick's hands. Watrick dribbles to her left, back up top, feeds it to Rice. Now over to McCracken. Now to Winter, tipped, and Winter comes up with it. Back to Watrick, 4:28 left to go in the game. Indians lead by 1. Into Rice. Rice, tough shot from the baseline, no good. Winter on the backside, gets it poked from behind. Out of bounds on Galena, stays with the Indians as O'Brien checks back into this ball game. McCracken comes out. O'Brien goes in with 4:19 left to go in the game. 1-point lead for the Lady Indians as Watrick feeds it over the top to Coombs. Now to O'Brien. O'Brien at the free throw line. Couple ball fakes, feeds the corner to Rice. Sets her feet, 3-point shot from the baseline. Oh, in and out. No good. Rebound Stapleton. And that's going to be a foul on the Lady Indians. Is going to send Stapleton to the line to shoot 2. I believe that's going to be on Watrick. That's his 10th team foul on the Lady Indians. Is going to put Galena in the double bonus the rest of the way.
I think they call it on Winter. Yep, Emily Winter.
Second foul on Emily Winter. 10th team foul on the Lady Indians. Halfway through this fourth quarter, Indians with a 1-point lead, but Stapleton has a chance to give Galena the lead as she lines up to shoot 2. First shot on its way off the side of the rim, no good. Real good ball game here in Galena to start this night off. Back and forth we have gone. Indians trail by 2 at halftime. As Stapleton lines up for her second, and she gets it to go, so it is a tie ball game at 35. Timeout with Galena, a full timeout. So we'll be back after this 1 minute timeout, brought to you by St. Paul Supermarket. We'll be back after this 1 minute timeout. Let's St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Welcome back to Galena, Kansas, 35-35 in this girls' game. St. Paul with the basketball. 3:58 left to go in the game. Watrick with the basketball. Feeds it off to O'Brien. O'Brien in the lane, kicks it out to Rice. Sets her feet, pass on the 3, cross-court pass to Winter. Now to Coombs. Coombs at the left baseline, bounce pass inside to Winter. Short on the shot. O'Brien with the rebound. Turnaround shot, no good. Rebound Stapleton for Galena. Couple good opportunities for the Lady Indians. Couldn't get them to go. Dixon with the basketball. Feeds it to Stapleton. Off to Jensen. Jensen cross-court pass to Cox. Cox drives towards the block. Feeds it out to Dixon to Stapleton. Back up top to Jensen. Over to Cox. Drives towards that baseline. It's going to be a foul on O'Brien, and she's just fouled out of the game.
That'll be it.
Not a smart foul by Caitlin O'Brien with 4 fouls. Has to let that go if she wants to stay in the game, as she is just fouled out. And Hutcherson will check back in for her, and that sends Cox to the line to shoot 2. $3:15 left to go in the game. 35-35. The score is tied as Cox goes to the line to shoot 2. Cox in that baseline has been fits for the Indians in the last 3 minutes of this fourth quarter, as she has drove it time and time again. And the Lady Indians give up that baseline, wait for the help. That time O'Brien was on Cox. She tried to step over there and stop her and got called for the block and picked up her 5th foul. Cox makes 1 of 2, gives Galena a 1-point lead. Galena stays in this press. And Indians break it. Gets Hutcherson. She's wide open for the 3. Passes on it. Gets it into Winter. Winter, tough left-handed shot. Coombs on the backside with the rebound. About gets it stripped away. Now she's fouled, so she'll go to the line to shoot 2. As Winter struggling to make a shot, getting some good looks from that left-hand block. Missed the last couple, but keeps getting them good looks. And she'll get them to go here in a minute. Coombs lines up for 2. 2:56 left to go in the ball game as she makes the first, ties the score at 36. The Lady Indians are going to have to finish this ball game off without Caitlin O'Brien, as she's just fouled out of the game. Second shot on its way off the rim, no good, tipped and out of bounds. It's going to stay with the Lady Indians.
Got a break there, got
Good
the ball
job
back.
by the Lady Indians as Hutcherson fighting now. Now they're going to talk about it. Somebody's going to overrule the other that's furthest from the basketball. Oh, maybe there's not. He's going to stick to his guns. Good for him. A lot of times when that happens from the sideline, the other one comes in and he must not have been real.
Sure, I guess.
I guess so. Stays with the Lady Indians as Watrick with the basketball on the inbounds play. Almost gets it stolen away. Cross court pass to Winter. Winter with the ball fake. 36-36. 2:44 left to go in the ball game. Winter kicks it out to Hutcherson. And that's going to be a travel on Hutcherson, as Dixon and her both end up on the floor as they got tied up together. 2:36 left to go in the game, tied at 36. Jensen with the basketball for Galena. Feeds it back to Cox. Cox guarded by Hutcherson. Gives it off to Stapleton. Up to Dixon. Dixon towards the elbow. Back to Jensen, over to Stapleton. Stapleton guarded by Coombs. Gets it to Thrower. Thrower playing with 4 fouls. Cox back to Stapleton. Back to Watrick. Over to Jensen. There's Watrick. Jensen with the basketball guarded by Rice. Don't foul now, and it's going to be a foul on Rice. You play good defense for 30 seconds, and then you start to get a little antsy and too much contact, as that's the 3rd foul on Sydney Rice, and you stop the clock, send him to the line. Scores tied at 36.
Start to get impatient, want that ball back, and that's when you commit the mistakes.
And that sends Jensen to the line to shoot 2. Off the back iron, no good on the first. 2:07 left to go in the game, tied at 36 at the moment. Jensen settles in for her second shot. Jensen's a senior for the Bulldogs. It's up and on its way and right through there and good. 37-36, 1-point lead for the Bulldogs. Hutcherson with the basketball, crosses half court, double teamed over there. Gets it back to Rice. Rice drives into the lane, puts step on, kicks out to Watrick. 3-point shot from the left wing, off the rim, no good. Coombs fights for it. There's going to be a foul underneath, and it's, boy, how's that on Katie Coombs when there's, I don't know how that's on Katie Coombs. There's 3 people fighting for the rebound. Coombs had just as good a position as the 2 Bulldogs, and they call a foul on Coombs. And it's going to send Galena to the line to shoot 2.
I think Coach Tuxton call a timeout. Talk about that now.
1:51 left to go in the game. 37-36, 1-point lead for the Bulldogs, and they're going to go to the line to shoot 2. The Indians are going to have to pick up the pressure on defense and get some shots to fall here down the stretch. Keep the record clean. Good, hard-fought ball game. Knew it would be. And the Indians trail by 1, 37-36.
Yeah, it's been a good ball game. The Lady Indians going to have to come out here, like you said. They're going to have to be patient. You can't be real patient, but with this close of a game, you don't want to make any mistakes and try to jump in there and reach in or get a block when it's not there, trying to get a steal.
If Galena continues to press with this lead, or if see what they do if they get more than a 1-point lead, you need to move more aggressive, bringing the ball down the floor and make Galena move their feet and not foul you, and make them stop the clock and send you to the line to shoot some free throws. Thrower goes to the line to shoot 2. First shot's on its way off the back rim, no good. Score stays at 37-36. Indians trail by 1. Thrower's second free throw on its way off the front rim, no good. Coombs with the rebound. Now Rice just needs to push it as Tuck hollers at her to slow down. Rice crosses over, spins into the lane. Shot on its way, no good, but she's fouled and she'll go to the line to shoot 2. Good hard drive by Sydney Rice. Could get the scoop shot to go, but Thrower is just fouled out of the game as she just picked up her 5th foul. And the Indians are in the double bonus. Both teams in the double bonus the rest of the way, as Johnson checks into the game for Thrower, who was just fouled out of the game. So Thrower for the Bulldogs and O'Brien for the Indians, both foul out of the game. Rice goes to the line to shoot 2, try to tie the score or give the Indians the lead. Her first shot's on the way and in there, so she ties it at 37. 1:40 left to go in this game as Sydney McCracken checks in for Katie Coombs.
Big free throw here for Sydney Rice.
37-37, a lot of time left. 1:40 left to go in the game. Both team in the double bonus as Rice makes the second. Gives the Lady Indians a 1-point lead. Don't want to foul here, but you want to play real stiff defense and block out on a shot, only let them have one shot at it, or try to create a turnover. Cox with the basketball against Hutcherson, feeds it out to Stapleton. Stapleton guarded by McCracken, tries to feed it into Cox, gets it in there to her. Shot from the elbow by Dixon, no good. Rice with the rebound. Now she slows up with 1:16 left to go. Indians with a 1-point lead. Galena coach calling for some pressure. Off to Watrick. Watrick holds the ball up above the timeline. She's going to be guarded by Cox, and she's going to be fouled by Cox. So Watrick will go to the line to shoot two. 38-37, Lady Indians up by 1. Taylor Watrick is going to the line in the double bonus as Coach Tuck clears the free throw line, or free throw lane. The Lady Indians, the rest of them besides Watrick, huddled up around Coach Tuck as he coaches them up. Need to stay back here behind the timeline. I think they're probably just going to stay out of there as Watrick misses the first and is short on it. 1:02 left to go in the game. 38-37, long ways to go here in this one. As Watrick lines up for her second, all the rest of the Indians retreat back into their defensive end as Watrick makes the second, gives the Lady Indians a 2-point lead, 39-37. Jensen with the basketball. Both teams in the double bonus. The Indians don't want to foul here. They try to create a turnover if they can. Did do a job on the last possession, boxing out and getting a rebound. Stapleton with it. And that's going to be a timeout for Galena. See if this is a full or a 30. Well, either way, we're going to go ahead and take a 30-second timeout. This timeout will be brought to you by St. Paul Supermarket there in St. Paul, Kansas. We'll be back after this 30-second timeout. Let's St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Welcome back to Galena, Kansas. We got a good one here. If you're streaming live on the internet, you should be able to watch a good one here. 48.3 seconds left to go in this game. Lady Indians up by 2 with Galena has possession of the basketball. Galena just called a timeout. As right now it's going to be Watrick, McCracken, Rice, Winter, and Hutcherson on the floor for the Lady Indians. Caitlin O'Brien on the bench. She fouled out with about 3 minutes left to go in this game. Dixon set to put the ball in play for Galena. Screen set. Jensen comes up with it as they set up the play here. Cox drives towards the middle, lobs it inside. Jensen kicks it to Johnson, over to Stapleton. 3-point shot from the right wing. Short, no good. Rebound tipped around. Winter comes up with it. 30 seconds left to go. Watrick with it in the corner. She drives down the sideline, feeds it ahead. McCracken wide open. Right-handed layup, no good. Rebound, Winter. Winter loses it. Now it's tapped out of bounds. It's going to go back to Galena.
That was one of those shots you stand there all by yourself and you're just too open to make it.
Galena back with the basketball. Indians need turnaround here. 17, 15 seconds. Dixon with the ball. Timeout Galena, as Galena's going to try to set up a play with 12 seconds left to go in this game. 2-point lead for the Lady Indians, 39-37. It's a good one here, Mike.
Yeah, it's a fun one to watch, especially when it comes down to the wire here. Indians got a lead, had a chance to capitalize and make it a 2-score ball game or 2-basket game, and weren't able to convert. Now they're going to really have to play some defense down here and not commit a foul. You really don't want to put them on the line, unless you're a gambler. I suppose you take a chance at it, but normally you wouldn't think you'd want to put them on the line at this point.
Both team in the double bonus. The Indians need to box out on a shot here. They need to close out on the 3. Keep that from happening. Keep everything inside the arc. And then if they get a 2-point shot off, make sure they block out. Dixon set to put the ball in play. Cox comes across the lane. Hutcherson on her. Watch for her. Jensen has the ball. 10 seconds left. All the way to the rim. She loses it for a second. She goes all the way to the rim. Makes a layup. 5 seconds left. Timeout by Coach Tuck with 5.3 left to go in the game as Jensen drove all the way past everyone, right past everywhere into the lane, made the right-handed layup, ties this ball game at 39.
Yeah, they just let her get in there and drive into the lane, afraid to commit the foul, and gave her a free pass to the basket.
Indians need to be really aggressive on the inbounds, bringing the ball up the floor, try to draw a foul against Galena. See if they'll make a mistake and foul. 5 seconds with the speed by Rice. Watrick, Hutcherson got plenty of time to get the ball up the court and get a shot off with 5.3, but they need to be real aggressive, not try to make too many passes, and hopefully try to draw a foul here with 5.3 left to go. 39-39. Just don't want to turn the ball over on their end of the court, on Galena's end of the court, because they still have to go the full length of the court. They didn't advance it to half court before the timeout. Coach Tuck quickly called a timeout after the inbound, so it will have to go the length of the court in 5.3.
You're going to want to try to get it down the floor, see if you've got the open shot. If not, make a quick decision, fire it inside, try to draw the foul or make the layup, the short basket.
Jensen's the only one standing past half court, so not just a little bit of token pressure. Is I'd like to see Rice get the ball in her hands. Now Winter gets it to Rice. 3 seconds left. Rice shot from the timeline off the backboard. Ooh, just off, almost banked that shot in, and we're going to overtime. 39-39 is the score after regulation. Rice got a shot from up above the timeline, off the backboard, just off the front of the rim. If that had been 3 inches lower on that backboard, it had banked home, as they put 1 minute on the clock for overtime.
I think they're going to put 4. I saw the referee walking over there.
No, it's just 1 minute timeout.
1 minute timeout, yeah.
I'm sorry. I was going to say, what the heck? Usually they put 4 minutes on the clock for overtime, so a long ways to go in this one now, folks, in the first overtime. 10 team fouls on each team, 39-39. Indians did a good job last 3 minutes of this game to get the lead. Had a chance to have a 2-possession lead and couldn't make a bunny shot under their own rim after they had broke the press. And a good drive by Jensen all the way to the rim ties the ball game at 39 with 5 seconds left to go in the game. So see if the Indians can get some offense put together with Caitlin O'Brien on the bench. Throw her on the bench for the Bulldogs, so each team with one person fouled out. I don't think there's any other Indian with any more, well, unless McCracken does have 4 fouls, but I believe everybody else has 3 or less for the Lady Indians. As we are going to tip or jump at center court, Emily Winter up against Johnson for the Bulldogs. 4 minutes on the clock, and it's going to be controlled by Galena. Stapleton out here guarded by Coombs. Johnson posting up against Winter. Gets it tipped away. Winter comes out there with it. She pushes the ball down the court. Cox is back now. She slows down. Back up top to Rice. 39-39, 3:41 left to go in the first overtime. Or in overtime. Feed to Winter. Over to Hutcherson. Back to Rice. Rice guarded by Dixon. Picks up her dribble. Now she's in a little bit of trouble. Cross-court pass to Coombs. Into Winter. Winter left-hand layup. Can't get it to go. Gets her own rebound. Now gets it stripped away. It's going to be jump ball. It's going to stay with the Lady Indians as Emily Winter is just struggling enormously from that left side. As Rice getting ready to put the ball in play as Flowers comes in for Stapleton.
A little out of character for Emily Winter. She's usually pretty consistent. If you can get down in underneath the basket, it's usually good for 2.
Rice feeds it up top to Winter. Winter drives into the lane. Now she's going to pull it back out and gives it to Watrick. She clears the lane. 3:13 left to go in overtime. Watrick guarded by Dixon. Bad pass inside, stolen away by Galena. Now still by Rice, and she gets it stripped away. It's going to be a foul and send Rice to the line. That foul's on Jensen. Taylor Watrick threw that into all kinds of traffic. Coach Tuck talking to the young sophomore now. She thought that Winter was going to go in deeper, so shakes her head to the coach, and Rice goes to the line to shoot 2. 39-39, 3:03 left to go in overtime. Rice's first shot is right through there and good. Rice with good hustle still there. About had it stripped away. Got Jensen for the foul, her 3rd. Both teams in the double bonus, so every foul will be 2 free throws as Rice makes the second, gives the Lady Indians a 2-point lead, 41-39. Dixon with the basketball. Behind the back dribble, screen by Johnson. Gets it off to Flowers. Now up to Cox, over to Jensen, left wing. She drives into the lane, gets it up to Flowers. Now up top to Johnson. Feed inside to Cox. Shot good, and the foul. I don't know how many times the Lady Indians are going to lose Cox on that baseline, but she gets away, and she has the chance to give the Bulldogs a 1-point lead on a 3-point play. Good ball movement by the Bulldogs. Found Cox on the weak side along the baseline as she lines up to try to give the Bulldogs a 1-point lead. Shots on its way and right through there.
That was the 4th foul on Katie Coombs on that play.
Rice with the basketball, 42-41. The Bulldogs with a 1-point lead. Watrick with the ball, feeds it ahead to Hutcherson. Hutcherson feeds it back up top to Watrick, who gives it to Rice. 2:28 left to go. Crossover. Rice in the lane. A little floater right in front. Good. Sydney Rice gives the Lady Indians a 1-point lead. Timeout by Coach Tuck. And we'll be back after this 30-second timeout. You're listening to St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Welcome back to Galena, Kansas. Here we got a good one. 43-42. Lady Indians up by 1 in overtime. 2:22 left to go in this overtime, so almost halfway through it. Rice with a big drive into the lane to give the Indians a 1-point lead. Jensen with the basketball. Back to Dixon. Dixon off to Cox. Cox picked up by Hutcherson. Rice pokes it away. She can't get her chased down, though. It goes out of bounds.
Well, it's been nothing but hustle out of Sydney Rice, especially in this second half.
As Galena will stay with possession of the ball. Dixon on the sideline. 2:07 left to go into overtime. Indians up by 1. Feed into Jensen. 2:03 left to go in overtime. Jensen picks up her dribble. Feeds it off to Flowers. Flowers guarded by Coons, playing with 4 fouls. Jensen feeds it into Stapleton. Stapleton back to Jensen. Drives towards the left block. Kicks it out. 3-point shot from the left wing. Good. Cox is making the Indians pay. It's been all Cox here in the fourth quarter in overtime, and she gives the Bulldogs a 2-point lead with 1:38 left to go in the game. Now the Bulldogs back off. No press with the 2-point lead. Rice with the basketball. Couple ball fakes. Gets it poked away. Behind the back dribble. Back into the lane she goes. Loses it. Out to Watrick. 1:22 left to go in the game. And it's going to be a timeout by Coach Tuck. It's going to be a full timeout. Bulldogs up by 2, 45-43. We'll be back after this 30-second timeout. Let's St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Welcome back to Galena, Kansas. David alongside Mike McCracken. Bulldogs with a 2-point lead, 45-43. 1:18 left to go in overtime. Indians will try to tie the score. Coach Tuck with a timeout. Lady Indians will have the basketball. See which Coach Tuck dials up during this timeout. Indians need to try to score in this possession. You don't want to get into a foul game when the other team's in a double bonus. As Watrick comes over to put the ball in play. Man-to-man defense. applied by the Bulldogs. Rice with the basketball, 1:16 left to go in overtime. Screen set by Coombs. Rice, 15-foot floater on the way, no good. Emily Winter with the rebound, puts the ball on the floor, gets tied up. Now Coombs with it, puts the ball on the floor, and she's going to be fouled and go the line to shoot to try to tie this ball game.
Well, that was a good move by Katie Coombs to go up with that ball and draw the foul. They were Coombs and Winter both in the lane, and I was afraid they're going to get called for 3 seconds.
Cox with the foul, 4th on her. Galena Bulldog coach is not happy at all with the call as Coombs goes to the line to shoot 2. First shot short. 1:04 left to go in the game, 45-43. Galena up by 2. Katie Coombs settles in at the line for her second. On its way and off the rim, no good. Stapleton with the rebound. Now to Jensen. Jensen, you don't have to foul, but we do. 59.3 seconds. There's a lot of time on the clock. Watrick fouls her. Galena with a 2-point lead. Now Jensen will go line to shoot 2 in the double bonus. So this could become a 2-possession game. I would have liked to see the Indians play defense for at least 30 seconds there to see if they could cause a turnover. Make Galena make a mistake as Jensen's first free throw on its way and off. No good. And I hope Taylor Watrick proves me wrong in every way.
Yep.
59.3 seconds left to go in the game. 45-43. Bulldogs up by 2 in overtime. Second shot on its way right through there. It's a 3-point lead for the Bulldogs, and that's going to be a timeout. Galena with 58.9 seconds left, just a 30-second timeout, so we're going to go ahead and stay here. So heck of a ball game so far here, 58.9. Indians need to try not necessarily to get a 3, but if it's open, you want to set your feet and take it. Try to get a defense or offensive rebound and a putback, as the Indians are playing without Caitlin O'Brien, who fouled out with about 3 minutes left in regulation. The Indians had a chance to take a 2-possession lead in regulation, couldn't get a little bunny shot to go, and Galena promptly came down. Jensen drove the lane and tied the score, and now Galena with a 3-point lead here with 58.9 seconds left to go.
Yeah, this is a good opportunity for the Lady Indians here, having an overtime game, a close game, back and forth like this, to really see what they're made of when it comes down to the stretch here and see what they've got in them. And it'll be the determining factor here. 58 seconds, plenty of time, get some points, but they're going to have to play some defense as well.
Jensen going to come up, play a little token full court pressure on Rice. Rice feeds it back to Watrick. Need to try to get a shot up relatively quick here as Watrick picks up a dribble and is in a little bit of trouble, gets it off to Hutcherson. Hutcherson back to Watrick. The Indians need to try to set up and get a shot here rather quick, try to make it a 2-possession. Nobody moving, nobody getting open as Rice tries to get open. Now Hutcherson. The Indians look all out of sync here on offense, almost a steal. Winter kicks it out to Coombs. Oh, she traveled with the basketball. She should have took the 3 as we're behind by 3. 28.4 seconds left to go as McCracken comes to the scorer's table. Full court press applied by the Lady Indians. Need to create a turnover here in a bad way as Coombs had a chance to shoot a 3, put the ball fake on, and got called for the travel. So turnover at the Indians. Feed in to Dixon. Dixon pressured out there, and she's going to be fouled by Rice. And she's going to go line and shoot 2. 23.8 seconds left to go. Bulldogs have a chance to make this a 2-possession game here as Dixon goes the line to shoot 2. First shot on its way and right through there. 4-point ball game, 23.8 left to go.
Indians get the back against the wall now.
That's just something them young kids are going to have to learn, Mike, and you learn in games like this. 47-43, 4-point lead for Galena, and now 5 as Dixon makes them both. Indians going to have to get a shot up quick. 22 seconds. They have no time to wait around as Taylor Watrick drives into the lane, shot up, and Coombs with the rebound, put back good. Timeout, Coach Tuck with 13.8. It's a 3-point ball game again, 48-45. Galena up by 3 in overtime. And I believe this is a full timeout. We'll go ahead and stay here. 13.8 left to go, 48-45. Galena up by 3. I think that was Coach Tuck's last timeout. So I believe St. Paul's out of timeout. Galena has a couple left. So the Indians are going to need a lot of help here, Mike, with 13.8 left to go in this game.
Yeah, it's going to be up to them when they get the ball inbounds now. You don't have much time. You're going to have to either decide whether to foul, take a chance on the free throws, which at this point with 13 seconds left is just about your only option. You might give them a second or two, but you don't have time to waste because you got to get the ball back and have a chance to score yourself.
Now you need to face guard and go for the steal. And then also you got to be, Coach Tuck obviously is probably going over all the scenarios, but if you do get a steal, you got to set yourself up for a 3 with 13.8 left. There's not hardly enough time to get 2 possessions in it, so you got to try to step back, get somebody open to take a 3. You really need to get the steal on the inbounds. If you can't, you immediately got to foul, or you don't have any choice at all. So everybody face guard, nobody on the inbounders. They set the screen, and it's up in the air, and it's inbounded into Jensen, and she's going to be fouled by McCracken. And we'll see if that is Sydney McCracken's 5th foul, and I believe it probably is.
Yep.
And she has fouled out of the game with 10.9 left. So Jensen goes the line to shoot 2. Bulldogs with the 3-point lead. Look to give the Indians their first blemish of the year. First shot by Jensen's right through there. 4-point lead for the Bulldogs with 10.9 left to go. So the Indians stand to lose the first game of the year here at Galena in a very good, hard-fought ball game. Caitlin O'Brien, their senior leader, fouls out with 3 minutes left to go in the game, and the Indians, quite honestly, just aren't quite the same on offense without her. And Rice gets it off to Hutcherson. 5-point ball game. Hutcherson's shot no good, and that's going to be the ball game. The Indians are going to fall to Galena 50-45, and they're going to lose in overtime to the Bulldogs in a good, hard-fought ball game. We'll be back with final stats in our post-game show, brought to you by KW Trucking, and our player of the game right after this 2-minute timeout. Let's St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Welcome back to Galena, Kansas, where the Lady Indians fall in overtime to the Bulldogs, give them their first blemish of the year. Mike, what do you got for final game, regular and overtime?
I'll give
stats?
you all of it. I'll give you regular and overtime. We'll call it all one game as we go down through the list. Just, they had a lot of trouble, the Lady Indians did, on stopping Cox coming on that backdoor trap play off the block. And Cox ended up with 24 points on the game. That was probably the biggest factor of the game, was not able to stop Cox as she came in on the backside, put 24 points on the board, lead all scorers on the night. For St. Paul, they were led by Sydney Rice with 10 points. He really came on strong in the second half. And as a matter of fact, for the derail commodity player of the game, I think I'm going to give my vote to Sydney Rice, just for the fact of the hustle that she showed coming out off at halftime and scoring 10 points there. Kaylin O'Brien had 18 points, but she was fouled out with 3 minutes to go in regulation. Wasn't able to help contribute in the overtime, and really, would have been a lot of help to have her out there on the floor. This wasn't meant to be for tonight, but Kaylin put in 18 points on the night and was a big part of the St. Paul offense while she was in the game. Emily Winter was 6. Katie Coombs had 5, and Emily Hutcherson also had 5. Taylor Watrick had 1 for the Lady Indians. That rounded out the scoring. Looking across the board, the Indians were 35% from two-point range, only 10% from outside the three-point line. They shot 1 out of 10. They took 10 three-point shots, which is probably lower than what we've seen earlier in the year from the Lady Indians, but they did get a lot of good looks from outside the three-point line. When they did, they weren't able to convert. They shot 27 free throws, made 18 of them for a 66% average on the free throw line, and like I said, only 10% outside of 3 points, 35% average from the field. So not great numbers for St. Paul, not great offense, and that's probably what the big difference was. They played a pretty tight game. Also a little bit uncharacteristic to the Lady Indians tonight. They committed 17 turnovers, which you don't like to see, and a lot of those were just mental errors. Galena held on the ball pretty well with 11 turnovers on their side. So good, give them a lot of credit. They're a pretty good team. Came out here with a game plan and made plays when they had to, and were able to get the victory here in overtime against the Lady Indians tonight.
Difference in that game to me was Galena, very good ball movement and not a lot of turnovers. Lady Indians entirely too many turnovers in that game. Now, not so bad in the second half. I think they had 12 in the first half, ended up with 17 for the game, but that shooting percentage went down in the second half, and the Indians had their chances there. They had a 2-point lead in regulation. They broke the press, had a little bunny shot under the basket that they missed to get them a 2-possession lead. And Jensen came down and tied the score going right down the lane. But Cox was the difference in this game down the stretch. She really come to life halfway through that fourth quarter and into overtime, and the Indians didn't have an answer for her. So very good ball game. St. Paul has nothing to hang their head about. Very good ball game. It's going to do you good down the stretch. Non-conference, non-league games. All it is, just a little blemish on your record. Everybody has them, so that will be good for the Lady Indians. They'll learn and grow from this loss. We got about 10 minutes before the boys' game starts here. We're going to go ahead and take another break. I'm going to go with Mike on the player of the game is Sydney Rice, our derail commodity player of the game. I want to thank our title sponsor, Farmers Bank. We're back to our Richie's pregame show here. When we come back, Mike and I'll have the pregame show for the second matchup of the night between Galena and St. Paul boys. We'll be back after this 3-minute timeout. This is St. Paul Indian basketball on Hot 105. Hey, Marissa, I'll holler at you when we get back, okay?
Yeah, give it.
We're back, Marissa.
Welcome back to Galena, Kansas here in the break between the boys game and the girls game tonight, as the Lady Indians fell to the Lady Bulldogs down here in Galena tonight. But the men have taken the floor now in their pregame warm-up. About 5 minutes to go until we tip off the boys game, where the boys are going to take on the Bulldogs tonight. Should be a good matchup between these two teams. They've met before, not this season, but they have met before, had some time to work on each other, coming off of a good game last week or earlier this week by the St. Paul Indian boys, and we'll see what they've got for the Galena Bulldogs tonight.
As we get ready for our next game of the night with our Richie's Pharmacy pregame show, and look for the Indians try to match up here against the Galena Bulldogs here about 5 minutes before tip-off here as both teams finish their warm-ups. Look for the Indians kind of build. Bravenborn back on the night. Looked good the other night, Tuesday night, against Southeast. The Indians come out with a 5-point victory over Southeast in a hard-fought ball game, back-and-forth game. The Indians pretty much led most of that game, up for many as 7, but really never any more than that. So it was a real tight ball game. Second time they faced Southeast on the year. And as you match up with people during the year, after you play them once or twice, it gets harder and harder to match up against those teams. Southeast, pretty good ball club, real good ball club, and Indians able to come out with a nice victory there. Played down the stretch with a lead and come out with a 5-point victory. So about 4:33 left before tip-off of the second game of the night here. We're going to be back after this next 2-minute timeout with St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Oh, welcome back to Galena. About 2 minutes to tip off here to our Styles Fitness and More tip off. You're listening to Richie's Pharmacy pregame show. Dan been alongside Mike McCracken. Want to make sure everybody knows that we are streaming live on the internet. Those of you that could make the road trip up here to Galena and a little bit longer road trip on a Friday night here, all you got to do is click on the get on the 105.5 Chanute Radio website. KKOY website. Click on the St. Paul Indians logo. It should take you right to the YouTube stream. It should say live on there. Click on the live on that YouTube stream. It should take you right to the stream. I want to thank all our sponsors for Tuesday night was our first night live streaming. Here's our second night as we get started on the live stream. So you'll be both able to tune in both on the radio and on the internet if you would like on the live stream. So kind of a new, nice for the Indians and for everybody that can't make the travel to be able to tune in on the internet.
Moving right on up in the world, getting a little fancy, but for those of you that don't know and aren't aware how that might work, if you happen to be listening to us on the air, want to try to follow along with the video, it's the same audio coming through on both sides, so it's probably better if you're going to do the live stream to go ahead and use the audio on the live stream. Otherwise, there may be a little bit of a delay because there is, by the time that the signal gets all the way through the internet and into your computer, you're going to have 2 or 3, 4, 5 second delay, and so it'll look a little bit funny. So just so you're aware of that. Sometimes people have said something after the game how the picture was off of the sound, but that's why.
They're going to get set for the national anthem, so we're going to take another break here. We're going to go ahead and take a 2-minute timeout. Let's St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Welcome back to Galena, Kansas. We get set for our Styles Fitness and More tip-off here in just a minute as we get set for the starting lineups. Senior number 2, Brendan Doherty, will get the start for the Indians. Number 1, Helton, the senior, gets to start for the Bulldogs. For the Indians, number 3, Caleb Lemons will get the start for the Indians, and number 5, Shelton, J.C. Shelton, the junior, gets to start for the Bulldogs. For St. Paul, number 4, Caleb Pekka, the hard-working young man on the boards for the for the Indians. Number 12, Jones, the junior. Can't get that good game off my mind.
Yeah.
Bravenborn, number 22, second game back here, coming off that knee injury from the state championship football game. Good to see Braven back and playing up to full speed. Booth, number 13, the junior, gets the start for Galena. And the big senior, number 50, Anthony Albertini, will get the start. And number 24, Little, for the Bulldogs. The seniors, so 3 juniors and a senior, or 2 seniors on the floor for the Bulldogs, and 4 seniors and a sophomore on the floor for the Indians to start this ball game as we get set to get underway with our Styles Fitness and More tip-off. I want to thank Richie's Pharmacy for our pregame show and thank Farmers Bank for our title sponsor.
Should be an interesting matchup tonight, the Bulldogs and the Indians here. little bit familiar with each other. Recognize a few of those names. I remember when we were down here last year playing, J.C. Shelton had a big game, as did Helton. Galena might have lost a couple of seniors. I think the Sarwinski kid that graduated and put up big numbers for Galena, but St. Paul coming back here and reloading, able to put a pretty good team on the floor themselves.
As we get set for the tip-off, as Jones gets set to tip against Brendan Doherty, 8 minutes on the clock, and we are getting set for our Styles Fitness and More tip-off, and here it is, controlled by Galena. Galena with the basketball, crosses half court. Shelton with the basketball, feeds it to the right wing to Booth. Booth to Little back to Shelton, left wing. Man-to-man defense applied by the Indians. Up top to Helton. Helton guarded by Bournes. Lob over the top. Stolen out there by Doherty. Doherty pushes the ball back down the floor. Gets it to Pekka. Pekka back to Doherty. Long three-point shot by Doherty off the front of the rim. Bravenborn with the rebound. Scoop shot no good. And rebound underneath there is Jones with it. Feeds it ahead to Helton. Up to Little. On the back side pass. Back up top to Helton. Helton to Shelton, right wing, over to Little. Little three-point shot from the left key, off the rim, no good. Rebound, Jones, no good. Rebound, Brendan Doherty. Doherty pushes the ball back down the floor for the Indians, crosses over, kicks it out to Lemons. Lemons to the left elbow, kicks it out to Pekka. Back to Lemons, over to Doherty. Doherty guarded by Booth. He gets it back to Pekka, who's guarded by Little. A little bit of a speed mismatch there, I think.
I think so.
If Caleb Pekka could get the lane cleared out. Now Bravenborn with the basketball, guarded by Helton. Pekka with the ball. Drives towards the middle, kicks it out to Lemons. Indians being patient on offense. Screen set by Doherty. Lemons with a little 15-foot shot off the rim, no good. Rebound, Anthony Albertini, put back, no good, but he's fouled. So he'll go to the line to shoot two. Good rebound by, good work underneath by Anthony Albertini. He goes to the line to shoot two, 6:24. Left to go in the first, no score.
Smart play by Anthony. He was right underneath the basket, but he went up strong, drew the foul.
Albertini settles in for his first. It's on its way, no good, too strong. We stay scoreless. Albertini settles in for his second shot. It's on its way and off the rim, no good. Rebound, Jones. He feeds it off to Shelton. Shelton picked up above the timeline by Lemons. And a steal in there by Bravenborn. He pushes the ball down the floor. He's got Little down there. Hard, tough shot on the right side, no good. Fought for underneath, and it goes out of bounds. It's going to stay with the Indians, as Albertini down there fighting for the basketball. Indians ball under their own basket. Pekka has the ball, feeds it up top to Lemons. Lemons back to Doherty. Doherty handles the ball, kicks it out to Lemons. Down the baseline, feeds it inside to Albertini. Ball's on the floor. Now out to Doherty. Three-point shot on the way. No good. Way too hard. Bravenborn rips the ball out of there. Comes out of there with an offensive rebound. Lemons, right wing with the basketball. Double team. Bounce pass inside Doherty. Tipped out to Pekka. He dribbles out of the double team. 2-3 zone now applied by Galena. Double team coming. Gives it to Pekka. Back to Doherty. Doherty crosses over, into the lane he goes, feeds it out, and it's going to be a foul on the floor. Second team foul on Galena. That's going to be on Helton. Helton. Second team foul on Galena. Indians basketball under their own basket. 5:23 left to go in the first, no score. Indians offense lines up across the free throw line, feeds it into Bravenborn, over to Pekka, now to Lemons. Lemons at the baseline, feeds it up to the right wing to Doherty, back to Lemons, sets his feet, three-pointer on the way, no good. Rebound, Caleb Pekka on the backside, put back, good. Good hard work on that weak side boards. Caleb Pekka gets the Indians on the board and lead 2-0. Helton with the basketball, feeds it to Little. Little up about top of the key, up to Booth. Now to Shelton, back to Booth at left wing. Number 25 in the game for Galena is Adams. Now Little drives in, shot no good, but he's going to be fouled. And that's going to be on Brave and Bourne, his first, team foul number 1 on the Indians. Little's going to go to the line to shoot 2. First shot on its way by Little is right through there. Little.
Not much little about Little. He's a pretty big kid.
Pretty big, solid-looking kid at the free throw line. So the score is 2-1. Indians lead by 1 currently. Little at the line to shoot his second. Little and Albertini is a good matchup. I think he's got Anthony outweighed a little bit even. Bourne with the basket, or Doherty with the basketball. It's going to be a foul on Galena. Third team foul on the floor. Be St. Paul basketball on the sideline. See who that foul is on.
On 25.
It's on number 25, who just come in the game, Adams. Adams, a senior. Caleb Pekka holds the ball over his head. Finally feeds it into Lemons up by the timeline. Hands it back to Pekka. Feeds it over to Bourne. Bourne, three-point shot, right wing. No good. Little with the rebound for Galena. Feeds it back to Shelton. Over to Adams to the corner. Number 11 in the game now. Little trying to fight around Albertini, and they're going to give him a foul. And he's going to go to the line to shoot 2. It's going to be Albertini on the foul. Second team foul on the Indians. First on Albertini. I don't have an 11 on their roster, Mike, so it's going to be hard to give him very many points. Little misses his free throw. Score is tied at 2 as Little, all the points so far for Galena. And he misses a second, so the score stays tied at 2. Little's 2 for 4 from the line. Lemons with the basketball. Feeds it back to Doherty. Doherty guarded by Booth. Crosses over a couple times. Gives it to Pekka. Feeds it over to Lemons. Albertini posting up against Little. Now releases. Caleb Pekka with the basketball up the free throw line. Feeds it to Lemons. Lemons towards the left elbow. Step back shot. No good. No rebounders in there. Rebound by Galena by Adams. Shelton with the basketball at right wing. Guarded by Lemons. Almost a steal by Pekka. Poked out of bounds by Caleb Pekka. Pass was intended for Booth. As number 11 gets set to put the ball in play. I wouldn't have a guess what numbers that's supposed to be on the roster, but apologize for not knowing. Adams feeds into Little. Little right block. Shot good. Little is the force so far for Galena. Has all 4 of their points and has been to the free throw line 4 times. Pekka feeds it back to Bourne. 3:24 left to go in the first. 4-2. Doherty drives into the lane. Tough left-handed shot. He's going to go to the line to shoot 2. 3:17 left to go in the first. 4-2. Galena leads. Doherty settles at the line to shoot 2. That foul is on number 13, Booth. His first, team foul number 4 on Galena. Doherty's first shot rolls off the left side of the rim. No good. Doherty settles in for the second on its way and right through there and good. 4-3. Indians trail by 1. Shelton with the basketball. Brings it across half court. Picked up out there by Caleb Lemons. Feeds it off to number 11 at left wing. Feeds it back up top to Adams. Adams feeds it to Shelton. Long 3-pointers by Shelton is good. Gives the Bulldogs 73 lead. 3-2 press applied by Galena. Doherty picks up his dribble at half court. Now feed into Albertini. Shot from the baseline. Way long. Caleb Pekka with the rebound. Put back. No good. And that's going to be a foul on Caleb Pekka against Little. Third team foul on the Indians. First on Pekka. 7-3. Galena leads by 4. Kenny Haney coming to the scores table for the Indians. Shelton feeds it off to number 11 at left wing. And now almost a steal by Doherty on Adams. He gets it back to Shelton at right wing. Feed inside to Little. Couple ball fakes. Split the defender. He's going to be fouled on the floor. Little is a force to be reckoned with down there.
He's
gives a ball fought. A little bit of a double team down there by the Indians, but he split that double team. It's going to be a foul on the floor. Fourth team foul on the Indians. Second on Albertini. Galena will have the ball under their own basket. Little set to put the ball in play under their own basket. He feeds it into Shelton. Gives it right back to Little. Little, couple ball fakes, a head fake, layup no good. Partially blocked by Doherty. Three-point shot on its way by Booth. Off the rim, no good. Doherty comes out of there with it. 7-3. Galena up by 4. Lemons now drives into the lane. A little floater. Indians can't buy a shot right now. Shelton with the rebound for Galena. And he's going to be fouled by Lemons. First on him. 15 foul on the Indians.
Indians starting out a little rough here early going in the first quarter.
Helton checks back into the game for the Bulldogs. As Helton get ready to put the ball in play, and Adam Albertini checks in for Lemons. We know who that number 11 is.
Yep.
Shelton with the basketball. 2:02 left to go in the first. Galena leads 7-3. Feed into Little. The baseline. Throws his weight around and makes the layup from the right block.
They have to come up with an answer for Little underneath.
6 of their 9 points has come from Little, and it's going to be out of bounds. I guess it's out on Doherty. And it'll go back to Galena on the turnover by the Indians. They trail by 6, 9-3. 1:44 left to go here in the first. Thank goodness Little comes out of the game for Galena. Jones in for him. The Indians so far have not had an answer for Trevor Little. Jones with the basketball, left wing to Shelton. He's guarded by Adam Albertini. Up top to Helton. Feed inside to Jones. On Doherty on him, and he gets it to go. Tough shot from the baseline. 11-3, 8-point lead for Galena. 3-2 trap defense. Doherty splits the defense. Ravenborn with the ball, feeds it off to Doherty at left wing. Now the corner to Adam Albertini. Drives into the lane. 15-foot jump shot, no good. Rebound Galena. Steal by Bourne. Put back, no good. Rebound Helton. Helton comes down. Picked up out there by Pekka. Feeds it inside number 23, who's in the game now. Boy, that could have been a travel. Now they're going to call a foul on Kenny Haney, I believe. And that is on Haney. Thought he had a clean block. So did I. Shot put up by Henderson, the sophomore. So he'll go to the line to shoot 2 to try to expand on his 8-point lead by Galena. Coach Watrick saying the same thing I was. Henderson took 3 seconds to try to pick the ball up. Could have been a travel easily right before that as he makes a first free throw. 12-3. Galena up by 9. He misses a second. Haney with the rebound. 49 seconds left to go in the first. 12-3. Galena up by 9. Albertini down to Haney. Haney drives the baseline. Need to go up strong there. Kicks it out to Adam Albertini. Shot on the way, no good. Rebound, and that's going to be out on Pekka. The Indians are just one and done every shot. Can't get a shot to fall. Caleb Pekka with the lone rebound of the night for the Indians. 35 seconds left to go to first. 12-3. Galena up by 9. Shelton with the basketball, picked up above the timeline by Albertini. Gives it off to Helton. Helton now just hold the ball. Galena content with going to take the last shot of the quarter, or try to. Feed to number 11 at left wing. Feed back up top to Helton. Now to Shelton. Now 10 seconds. Now they're going to put a play in motion. Henderson with the ball now. There's Jones on the give and go. And there's that good drawn-up play as Doherty with the shot of the buzzer is no good. And the Indians trail by 11 after 1, 14-3. We'll be back after this 1-minute timeout. This St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Welcome back to Galena, where the Indians trail 14-3 after one. Braven Bourne with the ball, kicks it off to Kenny Haney, to Albertini, Adam Albertini. Feeds it to Doherty, splits the defender, hard to the rim, layup good. Good give and go that time. 14-5. Galena up by 9. Booth with the basketball, feeds it inside to Little, tipped away, stolen out there by Bourne. That was created by Doherty, off to Pekka. Pekka to the elbow to Adam Albertini, and he's going to be fouled, and he misses a shot. Good floater shot as contact by Jones sends Albertini to the line to shoot two. Adam Albertini. 7:25 just underway here in the second quarter, 14-5. Indians trail by 9. Albertini's first free throw short, no good. As Adams checks back into the game for Jones for Galena.
A little bit of a lid on the bucket over on here on the St. Paul end, I think. Having trouble making anything fall when they do get a shot.
Albertini's second shot's long, no good. So 2 rare misses by Adam Albertini. Not going to be able to afford to miss very many free throws.
No.
14-5, Indians trail by 9. 7:17 left to go here in the first half. Little with the basketball. Feeds it back to Shelton. Gives it to number 11. Off to left wing to Shelton. Little posting Kenny Haney up hard. Ball fake goes to the center. Weak side pass stolen away by Braven Bourne. He was trying to get it to Adams on the weak side. Feed to Albertini. Gives it back to Bourne. And he's fouled on the play. Going to be on the floor, which will be the 16th foul on Galena. Maybe they're going to call it on the shot.
They called it on 11. They call him going up for a shot. Be all right.
Nope, they did call it on the floor. Braven Bourne lined up on the free throw line.
Maybe Braven trying to convince him he wanted to shoot.
Kenny Haney sets to put the ball in play for the Indians. Feeds it up top to Pekka. Now another foul. I believe that's going to be on Little. It is on Little on the push. That should be the 1-and-1. 17 foul. Should be 1-and-1. Who's going to be the shooter? Kenny Haney?
They called that on Adams, not on Little, looks like. No, he's changing it now. I don't think Adams was on the floor, was he?
No, could have been on Adams, I guess. Either way, should be 1-and-1. They still left it up on Adams. Little's the one that looked disgusted with himself for getting a foul, but apparently they give it to Adams. And Kenny Haney goes to the line to shoot the front end of a 1-and-1. First shot on its way. Off the rim, no good. Indians cold as ice to start this ball game off in the first quarter in a little bit. Number 11 with the basketball for Galena. Off to Trevor Little to Shelton. Shelton back up top to 11. Picked up out there by Bourne. Gives it off to Booth. Back to Shelton. Shelton dribbles around double team. Number 11 shot from the left wing. 3-pointer is good. Galena's not cold.
No.
6:18 left to go. 17-5. Gives it back to Doherty. Indians with the basketball. Back to Pekka. Pekka feeds it to Haney. Haney with the ball fake. Kicks it back up to Bourne. Bourne hands off to Doherty. 6:03 left to go in the first. 17-5. Galena up by 12. Out to Haney. 3-point shot. Right wing off the backboard. No good. Rebound number 11 for Galena. Kicks it out to Shelton. Into Little. Little, a couple ball fakes. He gets the foul on Kenny Haney. He'll go to the line to shoot two. Indians walking around with their heads down because they can't buy a basket. 5:48 left to go in the second. They trail by 12, 17-5. Little settles in for two. First shot on its way and right through there and good. Caleb Pekka comes out. Caleb Lemon goes in, as well as Adams comes out for Galena. And Jones checks back into the ball game. Little settles in for his second shot. On its way, long. Whoop, get the high bounce and rolled in. He gets it to go. Indians trail by 14, 5:46 left to go in the second. Here comes a 3-2 zone trap by Galena. Adam Albertini splits that trap, goes in, kicks it out to Haney. Haney back to Bourne. Bourne thought about the three, and they're going to call him for a travel. Turnover on the Indians, gives it back to the Bulldogs. 19-5, 14-point lead for the Bulldogs. Indians can't get nothing going offensively. As number 14 now in the game is Hall for the Bulldogs. Feed inside to Jones, almost stolen away. Little back to Jones. And it's stolen by Doherty. Doherty left-handed layup. He out-hustled Jones for that basketball. Galena coach not happy with Jones. Hall back down with the basketball. Picked up out here by Lemons. Feeds it off to left wing, number 11. And it's going to be a foul on Brave and Bourne. And that's going to send number 11 to the line to shoot the front end of 1-1. Second foul on Bourne. 19-7. Indians trail by 12. Helton checks back into the game for Galena. Comes in for Booth.
Oh, I think we got a fire alarm going off.
That's no good.
Somebody burned the popcorn concession stand.
I don't know what they do in a situation like this. Number 11 goes in line and shoots the front end of 1-1.
I know what you're supposed to do.
I'm sure they're going to make everybody exit or figure something out. We're going to go ahead and take a break during this, while we figure out what's going on here, as all the lights are flashing and fire alarms going off. So we'll be back after this 1-minute timeout. You're listening to St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Oh, welcome back to Galena, Kansas, where the Indians trail 19-7. 1-1 shot now tipped out of bounds. And he's going to get together with the ref. They called it out on the Indians. It should have been over the back on Kenny Haney, but guy under the basket's going to stick with this call, say it's off of the Indians, and give it to the Bulldogs. The Indians can't get a call to go their way. The ref up top came and said he's seen it a different way, but the one underneath stuck with it now. 3-point shot by Little is right through there and good. 22-7, all Bulldogs so far in this ball game. Trap set by 3-2 trap applied by the Bulldogs. Now Bourne dribbles down the sideline. Helton with pressure on Bourne. Bourne dribbles past all of them all the way into the lane, kicks it out to Haney, sets his feet, 3-point shot, no good. And Jones with the rebound for Galena. 4:41 left to go in the first half. 22-7, Indians trail. Feed inside to Jones. Spin move on Doherty, and it's stolen by Bourne. Feed ahead to Albertini. He loses it on the floor. Now picks it up, gives it to Doherty. 3-point shot by him. And he banks it off the backboard. Good. We'll take it any way we can
That's
get it
right
right
there.
now.
Let's
22-10, 12-point lead for Galena. Hall back down with the basketball, feeds it off to number 11 at right wing, guarded by Adam Albertini. Hall back with it, feeds it to 11, back up top to Little. Little guarded by Haney, feeds it back to 11, over to Helton at left wing. Feed inside to Little. Haney lets him get by, and Little scores, and he's fouled by Haney.
Haney frustrated with himself.
Haney frustrated that there wasn't no backside help. Thought he had some backside help. Little with position. And gives the Bulldogs a 14-point lead. And possibly 15 as he goes the line, try to complete the three-point play. Little has just been a load for the Indians. You'd think the length of Haney would help, but Little outweighs him by
50 pounds.
100 pounds. Quite a bit. He is a load and a good ball player. Lemons, cross-court pass to Haney, sets his feet, three-point shot, way long, no good. And Hall pushes the ball back down against Albertini, blocked out of bounds by Doherty. 25-10, Bulldogs up by 15, 3:41 left to go before half. Haney comes out of the game, Pekka goes back in. Now Doherty gets on Little. Little back up top, feeds it to Hall, three-point shot by him, good. Indians can't make a basket, and Galena can't miss.
That's what it looks like.
Doherty feeds it to Bourne, almost turned over. Should be somebody. Now they're going to call double dribble on Braven Bourne. So it's turnover. Galena back with the basketball. Coach Watrick frustrated as well as all the Indians. 3:24 left to go in the first half. 28-10. Galena leads by 18. Shelton with the basketball. Long three-point by him is good. Doherty. Pekka feeds it into Doherty. 31-10. 21-point lead for the Bulldogs. And a turnover on Brendan Doherty gives it right back to the Bulldogs.
Yeah, Indians just can't do anything right now. They're getting frustrated with themselves, and that's not helping.
3:05 left to go in the first half. 31-10. Bulldogs up by 21. Shelton with the basketball. Crosses half court. Picked up out there by Adam Albertini. Screen set by Little. Feed out the Hall. Three-pointer from the left wing. In and out. No good. Rebound Brendan Doherty. Doherty pushes the ball back down the floor. Hall against him. Feeds it out to Albertini. A little 15-footer from the baseline. No good. Rebound Galena. Feeds it ahead to Hall. Cross-court pass to Little. 15-footer by him. Off the rim, no good. Caleb Pekka with the rebound. He almost gets it stolen, but he pushes the ball up the left-hand side. Now comes to the center of the floor. Feeds it to Adam Albertini. Tries to give it on a give and go to Pekka. Gets tipped out of bounds by Galena. Will stay with the Indians. As Adams checks back into the game for Little for Galena. Galena leads 31-10. 2:22 left to go in the first half. Albertini set to put the ball in play for the Indians under their own basket. Lobs it in up over the top on Pekka. No foul called on Helton on the contact. 17 fouls on the Bulldogs, 9 on the Indians. Bounce pass inside, kicked by Hall. Stay with the Indians. 2:12 left to go before half. Indians trail 31-10. Feed into Albertini at left wing. Gives it back to Doherty. Doherty to Lemons. 3-2 zone applied by Galena to Bourne. And there's a foul on the floor by number 25. Adams, that'll send Bourne to the line, shoot front end of 1-1. 8th team foul on Galena.
It's the third on Adams.
And the third on Adams. He will come out of the game as well as Henderson. So Booth, Hall, Helton, number 11, and Shelton into the game for the Bulldogs. The Indians can't even make a free throw. Doherty gets the rebound, put back in front of the rim, no good, so he'll go to the line to shoot 2. We just cannot. I'd hate to see our shooting percentage in the first half.
It's not going to be good. They just can't make a basket.
Ugly. From the free throw line and, well, pretty much everywhere
else on the floor.
10 points so far in the first half for the Indians. 1:49 left to go in the first half. Doherty lines up. First one on its way to long. No good. Frustration feeds on frustration. That's here right. As Brennan misses his first free throw. Lines up for his second. It's on its way, and it's out. No good. Rebound Hall for Galena. Feeds it back to Shelton. Shelton feeds it to Helton. Helton to Hall in the lane. Shot off the backboard. Good. Had height advantage on Caleb Lemons and used it to his advantage. He gives Galena a 23-point lead. Now it's pass to Bourne. Gives it back to Doherty. Doherty double teamed out there. Gets it stripped out of his hands and stolen. Feed ahead to number 11. Now back to Helton and layup's good. All Galena here in the first half.
Galena keeping the pressure on too.
And that's going to be a foul on number 11. Is going to send Caleb Lemons to the line to shoot 2 because the Indians are now in the double bonus with 1:06 left to go before halftime. 25-point lead for Galena. Caleb Lemons lines up for 2. Off, no good. 1:06 left to go before half, 35-10 Galena. And this is nothing against Galena, absolutely nothing against them, but they are not 25 points better in the first half than the Indians. The Indians just can't buy a bucket.
Finally get a free throw there by Lemons.
And they're so frustrated themselves, it carries right over into defense, and Galena, their percentage is just the opposite of the Indians. And they are just outplaying the Indians right now. That's no other way to put it. 35-11, Indians trail. 1:06 left to go in the first half. 32nd timeout by Coach Watrick.
See if he can't get his team settled down here, finish out the half. Last minute and 6 seconds. Try to finish out, play some defense, get a defensive stop, help their confidence a little bit. I think that's another problem. They're just losing confidence just every possession on defense because Galena, especially with Little underneath, and then they try to guard him, open someone up outside, and they're sinking the threes, and there's just nothing going right on defense.
This 3-2 Galena trap, just like the Lady Indians, is causing the boys some fits. Now the Indians line up a little full court pressure of their own. Going to try to trap a little bit here. Well, that's almost a travel by Little. He gets away with it. Now Helton with the basketball. And stolen from behind by Adam Albertini. Feet ahead to Pekka. Pekka against Hall, left-hand layup, no good, but he'll go to the line to shoot 2. Good job on defense there, creating the turnover. Good hustle by Adam Albertini, coming up from behind, poking that ball away. Good push to the rim by Caleb Pekka. Couldn't get the layup to go, but he's fouled, so he'll go to the line to shoot 2. You have to be aggressive against that 3-2 trap defense. Try to get to the line. The Indians have a little bit, but haven't been able to make too many free throws as Pekka makes his first. Anthony Albertini checks back into the game for the Indians for Caleb Lemons. 52.8 left to go here before half. Pekka lines up for his second, and he makes it 35-13. Galena leads. Little trap defense. Little with the basketball. Feeds it back to Shelton. Back to Little. Back to Helton. Helton almost walked with it. He loses it, and that's going to be a charge on Helton. So now the Indians a little bit of pressure. Caused a couple turnovers against Galena. Try to dig into this lead a little bit before halftime. 41.8 seconds left to go in the first half, 35-13.
That press defense really the only thing that's gone right so far in the first half for St. Paul.
Albertini feeds it into Pekka. 40 seconds left to go before half. Over to Lemons. Lemons stands at the baseline. Fights through the trap. Gets it off to Doherty. Crosses over to the lane. Now you're going to get called for the carry as a turnover on the Indians. Gives it back to the Bulldogs. Indians line up in their press defense with 30 seconds left to go in the first half. Hall feeds it back now over to Little. Little gets it poked away from behind. Another good steal by Lemons that time. Adam Albertini, little 2-foot pull-up, no good. 10-foot pull-up, no good. Rebound Hall. Hall pushes it down against Albertini. Now Lemons pressures him. And that's going to be a foul on the floor. They're going to call a foul on the floor. Coach Wartrick is wanting that carry. He's upset that the foul was called clear from the man down at the baseline. And that's going to send Hall to the line to shoot 2. They are in the double bonus now, and he makes the first. Hall settles in for a second. 9 seconds left to go in the first half, 36-13. And he makes his second. Pekka with the ball, 9 seconds, 8 seconds. Now Doherty with it, feeds it ahead to Adam Albertini. 3-point shot from the left of the arc, no good. And at halftime, 37-13, Galena up by 24 here at halftime. We'll be back after this 2-minute timeout. This is St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Welcome back to Galena, Kansas. St. Paul trails at halftime, 37-13. Welcome to our St. Paul Tire and Lube halftime show. Mike, what do you got for first half stats?
Well, it's not going to take very long. Not much good news, especially for the Indians, particularly for the Indians, I should say, with only 13 points in the first half. Not a lot of time to go over the stats, really. Led by Brendan Doherty. He had 8 points in the first half. If you call it a bright spot, he's with 8 points. I'd like to see a little more out of Brendan, but it's just the way the whole night's gone for the whole team. And it's not really like he's doing anything wrong. It's just they've been so cold and can't make a basket, any of the team. So Brendan had 8 to lead St. Paul. Caleb Pekka had 4 points for St. Paul. Caleb Lemons with 1, and that's the extent of the scoring for the Indians. When you look, however, at the Galena Bulldogs, down through the list, led by Trevor Little, who's just torn the Indians up underneath. He had 14 points in the first half. Garrett Hall had 7. J.C. Shelton with 6. Jones with 4. Michael Helton with 2. And number 11 had 3. The nameless number 11. Not sure who he is, but he's got 3 points on the night for Galena. Looking at percentages, pretty ugly numbers. Coach Watrick definitely not going to be happy at all. St. Paul took 14 shots from two-point range, only made 3, 16% from there. Three-point range actually worse than the 2-point. They were 1 out of 11, shot 9% from outside the three-point line. Free throws, not any good news there either, 4 of 14 from the free throw line. So got to put some offense together. Not going to win any games with numbers like that. They're going to have to come out in the second half and regroup themselves, get their confidence back early on, try to put a little more pressure. They were having some luck towards the end of the first half with that press defense against Galena. Maybe try to keep that up a little bit, put some heat back on them, and meanwhile, switching into the floor, hopefully bring their luck to change where they can possibly get some offense started, maybe make some baskets, just not able to sink anything inside or out or at the free throw line in the first half.
What was their overall shooting percentage, Mike? You got that with you?
Yeah.
1 for 9 for three-point land, but what was it overall? It had to be like
I can tell you here in just a second when I can find it.
Anyway, 6:04 left to go here in the first half, 37-13. Galena up by 24. The Indians need to come out here at halftime, try to slowly chip away at this Galena lead with some good defense here in the second half.
Yeah, they were 16% from the field, 9% from three-point.
Yeah, you're not going to win very many ball games shooting 16% from the field.
Only 28% free throws. They had the turnover department, 6 turnovers for St. Paul.
The turnovers haven't been bad by the Indians. It's just they couldn't buy a shot on that end of the court, and only getting one shot at it. No rebounding. Caleb Peckett's 4 points has come off of rebounds, and that's probably the only couple offensive rebounds we've gotten. So give credit to Galena for the good defense. The Indians not able to connect on too many shots here in the first half. Look for Coach Watcher to make a good adjustment here at halftime, put a little pressure on Galena. Try to cut into this lead slowly but surely. About 5 minutes left to go here in the St. Paul Tire and Lube halftime show. We'll be back after this 2-minute timeout. You're listening to St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Welcome back to Galena, Kansas here at halftime of the boys game where Galena leads over St. Paul 37-13 here at halftime. Galena out of the locker room, back on the floor. The Indians not out of the locker room yet. I'm sure a lot to talk about. Mostly just because you can't get the ball to go through the hoop don't mean you can't keep playing hard.
That's
the Indians
right.
Got a little down on themselves, get frustrated when you can't make a shot. It kind of wears on you after a while. The Indians only shoot 19% from the field here in the first half. But the bright side is, Mike, they get to shoot on the opposite end of the court this half where there's not a lid on the bucket.
That's right. I think that end of the court definitely is a lot better, or a lot easier time for the ball to get through the hoop, and hopefully the other end, I guess it'd be the north end, will stay cool and shut Galena down a little bit on their offense where they're not able to score as often. St. Paul, like you said, a lot of this game is just what you can keep your head straight and keep your head in the game and focus on what's ahead instead of what's behind. You got to let that stuff go and move on. If the Indians are able to do that, just forget that first half, start over here in the second, get out and move the ball around, run their offense, get in there and block out, get some rebounds. They really struggled in the rebound department. I didn't keep track of the rebound numbers. I should have. I wish I would have. But it was pretty bad for the St. Paul Indians. Weren't able to get offensive rebounds, letting Galena get second and third shots sometimes on their own end of the floor. So a lot of things to improve on, and hopefully they'll come out here in the second half and forget the first half and start playing their game here.
Galena. St. Paul goes on the road next week, Tuesday night at Marmonton Valley, back to a Three Rivers League game. And then Friday night, going to have another tough opponent going to Frontenac. And then the week after that, the Lancer Classic Tournament at Southeast. So not sure. Stay tuned next week. We'll have tournament bracket for you next week. Let you in on when all the Lady Indians and men will be playing. It'll probably be Monday, Thursday, Friday, and possibly Saturday. So we'll see how that tournament, who's in that tournament, and how the Indians match up off the seeding next week. So stay tuned here. I want to make sure everybody knows that we are now live streaming. So if you can't make the ball game, it doesn't mean you can't watch it. Just pull it up on 105.5 Chanute FM, MyTown Media in Chanute. Click on the St. Paul logo, and it'll take you right to YouTube. It should say live stream if we're streaming live there. You'll be able to watch the game live. So I want to thank all our sponsors for making that happen after the first of the year. It's a nice little addition for all the fans at home.
Yeah, it's really nice to have technology like that. Sometimes you see that stuff from some of the bigger schools, and that's one of the nice things that we've been able to accomplish here through the generosity of the sponsors helping us out with that, is to bring live stream to a school like St. Paul. So it's really a nice thing for grandmas, grandpas, aunts and uncles, people that don't happen to live close enough to make the game, to be able to tune in and watch, and it's just really nice to have.
And even out-of-town alumni that want to tune in and watch a Tuesday, Friday night game. It's now, with the internet the way it is now, you can pretty much just watch it right live, and away we go. There's a little bit of delay, so if you ever, like Mike said earlier, if you do listen to the audio over the internet. Don't try to listen to the radio and watch it on, because you won't be able to figure out what's going on, because there's a little bit of delay on the internet. So Galena starts with the basketball here in the second half. They turn it over, so the Indians get a turnover here. That's what you need to start with. And now start getting some buckets here. 7:49 left to go in the third quarter. 37-13. The Indians trail. Caleb Peckett, left wing with the basketball, feeds it off to Lemons, sets his feet, thought he was going to take a three, passed up on it. Doherty in there posting up hard, didn't get the basketball, releases. Peckett now to Bourne. Bourne to the left elbow, free throw line, shot up, no good. Tipped around, controlled by Jones, and he travels with the basketball. Indians can't get a shot to go, but to get back-to-back turnovers, gives them the basketball again, going to stay under their own basket with it. Peckett with the basketball under his own rim, feeds it way up top to Doherty. Doherty to Peckett, over to Bourne. Bourne way out wide on the right wing. Bounce pass over to Doherty, three-point shot from the baseline, no good. Anthony Albertini knocks it out of bounds. It's going to be off of him and go back to Galena. Full court press applied by the Indians here, as Adams checks into the game for Booth. Little set to put the ball in play for Galena. Gets it into Helton. Helton back to Little. Little couple ball fakes, feeds it over to Helton. Cross court pass to Shelton. Indians back into their man-to-man. Adams, ball's on the floor, and it's going to be a foul on, I believe.
Called on Caleb?
No, I don't think so. It's going to be on Adams, I hope. They're not be on Caleb. He was the one that had the
basketball. He was looking at Caleb. I didn't know what he was going to call there.
It is on Adams. That's his third first team foul of the second half on either team. First on Galena. So the Indians get three much-needed turnovers right in a row, but their shooting woes have continued so far early on here in the third quarter. Lemons with the basketball at left wing, guarded out there by Shelton. Bounce inside to Pekka. Ball fake. Gets double teamed down there. Hands it off to Doherty. Doherty in traffic. Layup good. Good job by Brendan Doherty. Underneath on that left block. Jones with the basketball. Gets it back to Little. Little. Oh, I was going to say. Doherty tipped it way up in the air, and the whistle blew while it was in the air, but they called travel on Little. So another turnover on Galena. Gives the Indians back the basketball, 37-15. Pekka with the basketball up above the timeline. Picked up out there by Helton. Gets it off to Caleb Lemons at left wing. He's guarded by Shelton. Man-to-man defense by Galena. Doherty over to Pekka. Hooks inside, gets it to Albertini. Albertini, tough traffic. He's going to be fouled by Jones from the backside. So he's going to go to the line to shoot two. Adam Albertini settles in at the line as number 11 comes back to scores table for Galena. Anthony lines up. First shot on its way. Gets it to go. 37-16. As Jones comes out and number 11 goes in. That's the third foul on Jones. So 3 on Jones and 3 on Adams for Galena. Albertini's second shot right through there. Bangs it home as the Indians set up in this press defense. Shelton with the ball. Feeds it back to Little. Little over to Helton. He about traveled too. About has it poked away by Bourne, but he gets it off to Shelton, back to Little. Little with a couple ball fakes. Good defense by Albertini. Now three-pointer by Helton. No good. Rebound, Pekka. Pekka pushing the ball down. Now he backs up. Loses his footing. In a lot of traffic. Tries to get it off to Doherty. Feeds it to Little. Little on the breakaway. Layup good. 5:41 left to go in the third. 39-17. Bravenborn with the basketball for the Indians. Feeds it off to Lemons at left wing. Now to the corner to Doherty. Sets his feet. Three-point shot. No good. Rebound, Helton. Feeds it to, it's stolen by Bravenborn. Bravenborn towards the rim. Shot in front of the rim. No good. Caleb Pekka with the rebound. Feeds it to Doherty. Layup good. 39-19. 20-point lead for Galena. And timeout, Galena. See what this is here. 30-second timeout. We'll go ahead and stay here. Timeout brought to you by St. Paul Supermarket. We want to thank Styles Fitness and More for our tip-off sponsorship and Farmers National Bank. Farmers Bank for our title sponsor. 5:09 left to go in the third. Our post-game show will be brought to you by KW Trucking, and our player of the game will be brought to you by D-Rail Commodity.
St. Paul looking a little bit better here in the second half than what they finished out the first.
5:09 left to go here in the third. 39-19, 20-point lead for Galena. Indians line up here in their press defense. Little lines up under his own basket to try to get the ball in play as everybody gets set.
Try to get the student section backed up a little bit over on the Galena side, I think.
I see the student section doing a lot of talking to the Indians out of the time out there.
Crowding that baseline pretty close.
And still a little bit of a delay here as the ref's now looking over there talking to him. And we are going to get set to get underway here. 5:09 left to go in the third. 39-19, Galena with the basketball. Little with the basketball, feeds it to Shelton. He traveled with the basketball. Turnover on Galena, gives it back to the Indians. This press causing a little bit of trouble for Galena as Lemons gets set to put the ball in play. Caleb Pekka with the ball, feeds it to Bourne. It's like a little 2-1-2-3 zone applied by Galena. Looking for a trap here. Off to Doherty in the corner. Feeds it to Albertini. Albertini against Little. Turnaround shot. Tough shot. No good. There's going to be a foul on Brendan Doherty against number 11. First team foul of the second half on the Indians. And the first on Doherty. Galena with the basketball under. Gets it inbounds, back to Little. Little to Shelton. Feeds it on ahead to Adams, now to 11. Now off to the left wing. McNear, who's in the ball game. Into Little. Little double teamed in there. McNear, shot from the free throw line by number 14. Gets a high bounce. McNear.
14th
McNar.
Hall. 14th Hall.
14th Hall. Who am I looking at? Oh, I'm looking at the girls. I'm sorry. Hall gets the shot to go. 41-19. Doherty, three-point shot left wing. Off the rim, no good. Caleb Pecker rebound. Put back good. Hall coming back down the floor for Galena. Pushes, breaks the press. Feeds it off to 11 at the right wing. Now Little with the ball. 2-point shot inside the arc. And Hall chases down the rebound. Long three-pointer by him. Off, no good. Little with the rebound. Poked away by Pekka. Now Shelton with the ball. So a lot of chances on the offensive possession for Galena. Little working on Albertini, and he finds he gets it, and it's going to be a foul on Albertini. Second team foul on the Indians. And I believe that's the third on Anthony. It is a third foul on Anthony. 2 team fouls on each team now. Hall with the basketball, feeds it Little, back to Hall. Turnaround shot good as he gets around Bourne. Caleb Lemons with the basketball, drives the baseline, nobody there to give it to, and throws it to number 11 as he had to do something with it. Now Little with it, feeds it back to number 11. 3:11 left to go in the third. 3-point shot by Hall, off, no good. Rebound Lemons. 43-21. Galena leads by 22. Doherty with the basketball, feeds it over to Pekka, almost out. Over his outstretched arms. The Lemons back to Doherty. Long 3-point shot, top of the key, good. Indians come back up in their press defense. Shelton with the ball, feeds it back to Little. Back to Shelton. Cross court pass to Hall. Hall feeds it inside to Adams. Layup good. That time Galena had no trouble at all against that press. 45-24, 21-point lead for Galena. Bourne, 3-point shot, right wing, off the rim, no good. Long rebound to Shelton. Indians need to get back on defense because Shelton about loses it, gets it to Hall. Hall moves it ahead to number 11. 3-point shot by him, off the rim, no good. Chased down by Adams. Hall inside the Little, layup good. 47-24, Galena leads. 2:02 left to go in the third. Bourne, shot from the baseline, gets it to go. Little 10-footer, tough angle, but he gets it to go. 30-second timeout by the Indians with 1:55 left to go here in the third. 47-26, Galena leads by 21.
Pace seems to have picked up here in the second half, especially here late in the third quarter. It's back and forth. St. Paul still having a little bit of trouble on the defensive end, getting some rebounds, giving Galena a second and third look a couple of times down the floor, but overall playing better than they did in the first half. I think that full court press that they've come out from halftime with, finished up the first half with, has given Galena a little bit more trouble than what they encountered early on in the game, and it slowed them down somewhat. At the same time, St. Paul been able to pick up a few baskets. Doherty warming up a little bit from outside the three-point line, and if St. Paul can stay out of foul trouble here and keep putting some points on the board, they keep clawing their way back and play a little bit of defense, they may be able to get back in this game.
Now a little four-court press, man-to-man press applied by the Indians. So a little different look out of that zone look because Galena made a little adjustment there, broke that press a couple times in a row. So a full-court man-to-man press. Shelton pushes the ball across half court, gives it back to Hall, stolen away by Doherty. Doherty on the breakaway, layup no good. Shelton with the rebound. Shelton comes back down, picked up out there by Adam Albertini. Long three-point shot by him. In and out, no good. Rebound. And he's going to be fouled, and that's number 23 on the putback. Indians can't secure a rebound, and Henderson is going to go to the line to shoot two. Somebody didn't block out their man. And on that long shot by Shelton, Henderson stood alone under the basket, and he had to be fouled by
Kenny Haney, that's number 4 on Kenny.
Fourth foul on Haney. And first shot is no good by Henderson. 1:29 left to go in the third. 47-26, 21-point lead for Galena. Second shot on its way and good. 48-26, lead up to 22. Doherty with the basketball. Cross court pass to Bourne. Over to Adam Albertini. Albertini into the lane. Tries to feed it to Dent. Gets to Bourne. Three-point shot. Good from the left baseline. Shelton with the basketball. Cross court pass, number 11. Now feed to Henderson. Back to Shelton. Shelton hands it to Hall at the top of the key. Guarded out there by Doherty. Indians in a man-to-man. Back to Adams. Adams back to Shelton. Back to Hall. Three-point shot, top of the key. In and out, no good. Haney tips it around and finally controls it. And it's going to be a foul over the back against Kenny Haney. Third team foul on Galena. Haney playing with 4 fouls here.
That would be 5 if that was.
It's not. It's against Haney.
Oh, against Haney. Okay,
Haney.
I thought it was on Haney.
Easton Dent in the game. It's Dent, Haney, Albertini, Bourne, and Doherty in the game right now for the Indians. That's the 4th foul on number 25, Adams. Dent feeds it into Albertini. Just under 45 seconds left to go here in the 4th. 48-29. Albertini. Tough shot's going to be fouled from behind by Shelton. He's going to go to the line to shoot 2. Adam Albertini lines up at the free throw line. Easton Dent goes back on defense as Albertini will shoot 2. 14 foul on Galena, and Albertini makes his first. 39.8 seconds left to go in the quarter. In the third quarter, Adam Albertini lines up for his second. It's on its way and right through there and good. So man-to-man pressure again by the Indians. Hall with it. Feeds it ahead to Booth, who's back in the game. Feed inside to Hall, no good. Tipped around, controlled by Dent. Dent feeds it out to Bourne. Bourne streaks in the middle of the court, out to Doherty. Three-point shot, left wing. Got the roll. Got it to go. 48-34. 14-point lead for Galena. Cross-court pass. Now Shelton, three-point shot of his own. Long, no good. Tipped around. Doherty controls it. 7 seconds left. 6, 5. Doherty feeds it to Haney. Three-point shot by Haney. No good. And at the end of 3, 48-34. 14-point lead for Galena. We'll be back after this 1-minute timeout. Let's St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Welcome back to Galena. Indians trail 48-34. A better quarter, especially the second half of that quarter, put together by the Indians. Slowly have cut into the Galena lead. They will start with possession of the basketball here in the 4th quarter. Need a quarter like that and a little bit more to get back in this ball game. One possession at a time. Albertini in traffic. Throws up a wild shot, clear over the backboard. Coach Watrick not happy with that shot attempt by Albertini. Little gets it back to Shelton. He's pestered down there by Doherty. They feed it ahead, and it's tipped in the air. And it's out of bounds by Albertini, so it'll stay with Galena. Hall set to put the ball in play, gets it into Shelton. Picked up out there by Adam Albertini. Shelton, top of the key. Now Booth with the ball. In Little, stolen away by Bourne. Albertini feeds it ahead to Bourne. Left-handed layup. No
double dribble.
Called double dribble on Bourne. He was in traffic with contact. Bourne got called for the double dribble. I didn't see it. Shelton feeds it back to Little. Pressure applied by the Indians. Little picks up. Boy, that's got to be a foul on Doherty. Yeah, I heard the slap clear up here. They did catch that one finally. Or, no, excuse me, it wasn't a foul. It was a timeout. Boy, Doherty slapped the heck out of Little, but full timeout called by Galena. Galena, the coach, not liking what he's seeing. So we'll be back after this 30-second timeout. Let's St. Paul basketball on Hot 105.
Double dribble.
Coming out of that Galena timeout, Galena with the basketball, feeds it down into Jones, and he's fouled by Bourne. So it'll send Jones the line to shoot two. As the Indians trail 48-34, that's a third on Bourne. 7:02 left to go in the game. 14-point lead for Galena. Jones settles in at the line. Off the back iron, no good. Anthony Albertini, Caleb Pekka, Adam Albertini, Brendan Doherty, and Braven Bourne in the game for the Indians. Shelton, Hall, Jones, Little, and Adams, I believe. Nope, number 13, Booth in the game. Three-point shot by Bourne off the miss of the free throw down. The Indians come down there quick, chased around, tapped around. Jones comes out there with it. Hall feeds it held to Shelton on the breakaway. Layup good. Indians had 2 or 3 chances at the basketball. Couldn't get it secured. 16-point lead for Galena. Bourne splits it. 3-point shot by Doherty, left wing. Good.
Doherty's starting to warm up from outside.
Shelton feeds it back to Hall. Tipped up in the air. Shelton comes out there with it, and he loses it out of bounds. So turnover on Galena as Caleb Lemon checks back into the game for the Indians. Adam Albertini comes out. So now it's Pekka, Bourne, Lemons, Doherty, and Anthony Albertini in the game. Doherty with the ball, 50-37, 13-point lead. And the pass goes right through the middle of the lane from Doherty, and it's turnover against the Indians. Gives it right back to Galena. Hall with the basketball, splits the press, goes back to Hall. Back to Little, Little inside. Nobody picked up Jones, and he makes the easy layup. 52-37, 15-point lead. Boy, how is that not a foul on Shelton? He rode Lemons clear out of bounds. It's out on Shelton. Stay with the Indians. 14 fouls on each team, 52-37. Galena leads by 15. Bourne with the basketball, feeds it over to Pekka. Pekka back to Bourne. Bourne drives into the lane. Tough shot.
I don't know how he made it, but he did.
And he got it to go by Braven Bourne. Hall with it. And that's going to be a foul.
He just picked up his 4th foul now.
Against Braven Bourne. That'll be his 4th, team foul number 5 on the Indians. 5:40 left to go in the game. Coach Watring's going to leave Bourne in there with 4. You're going to have to be smart down the stretch here as Helton checks back into the game. Hall feeds it back into Shelton. Shelton feeds it over to Helton at left wing. Picked up out there by Bourne. Now to Jones. Jones guarded by Doherty. Lobs it over the head of everybody. Turnover on Galena. Goes back to the Indians as Kenny Haney checks in for Anthony Albertini to give him a little breather. 5:29 left to go in the game. 52-39. Bourne with the basketball. Trying to get around the double team. Over the top of everybody and fed out of bounds. Poor pass by Bourne. Turns it right back over to Galena. The Indians got to stay out of the corners, quit dribbling into that double team and trying to get rid of it. Hall with the basketball for Galena. Picked up out there by Doherty as he crosses half court. Just a little over 5 minutes left to go in the game, 52-39. Hall drives towards the rim. Little floater on the way. Got to go off the backboard. Tough shot. 54-39. Pekka behind the back dribble. Feeds it to Lemons. Lemons almost could have got called for the carry. Give to Pekka. Pekka, tough shot. Gets his own rebound. Ball's on the floor. 3 Galena Bulldogs dive on the floor after it. Now it's a strip by Pekka. Pekka with the ball. Misses the layup. Tipped around. Chased down by Caleb Pekka again. He travels with the basketball. There's all hustle from Caleb Pekka, but he couldn't get a handle on it.
Doing his best to make things happen out there. Just couldn't get it to go.
4:42 left to go in the game. 54-39. Galena leads. Hall feeds it over to number 11. Back to Hall. Hall to Shelton. Shelton into Little. Little gives it back to Hall. Little floater as he gets right past Doherty and scores. Doherty brings the ball down. Now is trapped in the corner out by half court. Feeds it to corner to Haney. 3-point shot by Haney by the baseline. In and out, no good, and that's going to be over the back. Caleb Lemons, the young sophomore.
A little excited trying to get the ball, I think.
Haney lined up on the baseline on the other side. He should have got position on that back side. Tried to tap it over the top. Got called for the over the back. 16 foul on the Indians. 3rd on him. As Little feeds it back to Hall. Hall way ahead to number 11. Layup. Good. 58-39. Back up to 19-point lead after the Indians fought hard to get back in it. Now Bourne is going to get called for the number 11 is going to get called for a block against Bourne. 15 foul on Galena. 4th on number 11 as the Indians will retain possession of the basketball. 3:58 left to go in the game. 58-39. Galena leads. Pekka feeds it back into Bourne. Bourne playing with 4 fouls. He's guarded by Helton. Screen set by Lemons. Gets it off to Haney in the corner. Back up to Lemons. Lemons split the defender. Shot inside the free throw line. In and out. No good. Rebound Galena. Gets it back to Shelton. Up ahead to Helton. Into Little. Little feeds it out to Hall. Now back out to Shelton. 3:34 left to go in the game. Shelton feeds it back to Helton. The Indians are going to have to tighten up on defense here. Feed ahead to Little. Little's ball fake. Gets it partially blocked by Haney. Partially blocked again by Haney and knocked out of bounds off of Helton's foot.
That was good defense by Kenny.
As Dent and Albertini check into the game. Adam Albertini and Easton Dent checks into the game for the Indians. For Pekka and Doherty. 3:20 left to go in the game. 58-39. Indians trail. Albertini feeds it to Lemons. Still a 3-2 trap applied by Galena. Bourne with the basketball, between the leg dribble, up top of the key, gets the Lemons, now over to Adam Albertini. Drives in towards the lane, cross-court pass to Haney, sets his feet, three-pointer way off, no good. Rebound Galena. And Helton comes up with it. Cross-court pass to Shelton. Now number 11, ball fake, drives into the lane, tries to feed it. Ball's on the floor. Adam Albertini hustles up, comes up with the basketball. He dribbles to the outside on the left wing, feeds it to Lemons. 3-point shot left baseline, long, no good. Kenny Haney with the rebound, put back, no good. Rebound, Helton. Hall with the basketball, pushing it down the floor hard. Layup, no good. Gets his own rebound, put back, good. Hall is quick off the dribble with his long legs. He gets down the floor quick. Timeout, Galena. 60-39. They lead by 21. 30-second timeout. We'll go ahead and stay here. I want to thank our timeout sponsor, St. Paul Supermarket, and all our other sponsors. Our title sponsor is Farmers Bank. We'll make sure everybody joins us next Tuesday. The Indians will travel to Marmonton Valley in an all-important Three Rivers League game, as well as Friday night's not a Three Rivers, but Friday night the Indians will be on the road again and travel to Frontenac. And then the week of January the 15th, the Lancer Classic Tournament at Southeast. We'll see some good basketball comes to Southeast the week of January the 15th. You get a lot of basketball Monday, Thursday, Friday. I'm not sure if that's Monday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, or Monday, Thursday, and Friday, but we'll know the schedule next week for that Lancer Classic. 2:29 left to go in the game, 60-39. Galena leads, Indians with the basketball. Grant Hutcherson into the game for the Indians. Albertini bounce pass inside to nobody. Helton with the ball, pushes the ball back down the floor and scores. 62-39, 23-point lead for Galena. Started the half with a 25-point lead. Indians got that down to as little as 14, but Galena has come back here in the fourth quarter. Hutcherson with the ball with the rebound. Adam Albertini, 3-point shot, no good. Easton Dent fighting for it with Hall. Hall comes out there with it. Helton, backdoor to 11. 11 baseline shot off the rim, no good. Swatted out of bounds off of number 1, Helton. Subs come into the game for Galena as number 4, Lawson, a junior, as well as Helton still in the game, number 11. Henderson is in the game, as well as number 20, Henson, senior, into the game for Galena. Adam Albertini with the basketball. Shows Chandler Bradshaw for the Indians. Albertini has the ball stripped away from him, and that's going to be a travel on Henson for Galena. Give it back to the Indians. 1:30 left to go in this game. If the Indians could have played anywhere close to this in the first half, we'd be in a ball game right now.
It'd be a different game, that's for sure.
The Indians struggled from shooting from the outside, well, from anywhere in that first half. Just 13 points in that first half. 26, doubled that here so far in the second half. Lemons with the basketball. Feed inside to Dent is stolen out there by Helton. It was too high for Dent over his head. Helton on the backside gets the rebound. Feed to Lawson. Lawson feed to Henderson.
Good defense by Easton Dent there. Got a block and a steal.
Feed out to Bradshaw. Bradshaw comes back down for the Indians with the basketball. Up above the timeline. Crosses over to his left hand. Feeds it off to Hutcherson. Hutcherson feeds it off to the Lemons. Over to Albertini. Into Hutcherson. And knocked out of bounds. Saved inbounds by Hutcherson behind the back. And they're going to call a foul on the floor against Albertini. I believe that's going to be on Lawson. And that'll just be the 6th team foul on Galena. So it'll be St. Paul's ball under their own basket. I want everybody to stick around for a KW Trucking post-game show. Just at the conclusion of this, as number 32 Reynolds checks in for the Bulldogs. Albertini puts the ball over his head, looking for somebody to get it into. Finally tries to feed it in Lemons. Stolen out there by Lemons. Feed ahead to Lawson. Layup good. 30 seconds left to go. 64-39. 25-point lead for Galena. And turnover, nope, tapped by Galena. It'll stay with the Indians. On the sideline. So right now, Adam Albertini, Easton Dent, Grant Hutcherson, Chandler Bradshaw, and Lemons in the game. Bradshaw, 3-point shot. No good. Saved inbounds by Hutcherson twice in a row. Hutcherson hustling for that save. Bradshaw gets it stripped away. On the breakaway, number 20 loses it for a second. Now under the basket, loses again, stripped away out there by Bradshaw. Bradshaw tries to feed it ahead to Albertini. The shot at the buzzer is no good. Final score, 64-39. Galena Bulldogs win over the St. Paul Indians. We'll be back after this 2-minute timeout. This is St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Welcome back to Galena and our KW Trucking post-game show. Mike, what do you got for final stats?
You know, a little bit better in the second half. Not much to talk about the first half for the Indians, but second half came out and tried to get themselves back in this game, had a couple opportunities, and I think the closest they were able to get was 12 or 13 points, but they were trying to march on their way back and doing everything they could. It just wasn't meant to be tonight. But for St. Paul, bright spots, you know, there was a couple of nice things they did in the second half that they were able to clean up, which is a good sign. They were able to come out after getting down on themselves early on in the whole first half, and they kind of forgot about it just like they needed to come out here and play their own game later on. Brendan Doherty led St. Paul. He ended up with 21 points on the night. He got warmed up there in the second half with his three-point shots and really helped him out, helped the team get back and try to make it a game. Caleb Pekka with 6. Braven Bourne had 7 for the Indians. Adam Albertini with 2 and Caleb Lemons with 1. Numbers not good overall for the game, mostly because of the numbers they put up in the first half. I think second half numbers would have been a little bit better, but overall St. Paul was 8 of 29 from 2-point range. They were 5 of 25 from 3-point range, which doesn't sound very good. However, 4 of the 5 they made from outside the 3-point line were all in the second half. Free throws, 8 out of 18, which was an improvement over the first half when they were only able to make 1 free throw. Field goal percentage for St. Paul was 24%, shot 20% from 3-point range and 44% from the free throw line. St. Paul had 14 turnovers as opposed to 17 for Galena, so they were I guess actually won the turnover battle. Take that back, 19 for Galena. So St. Paul, pretty good job causing some turnovers on the part of Galena, especially most of those probably came in the second half. They picked up that full court press defense and had a little more success, put a little more pressure on, caused some problems for Galena. The bright spot for Galena, looking down their roster, just to mention really quickly, they had a couple of guys that played pretty good games, especially Trevor Little, who was all over the place in the first half. He ended up with 18 points. Garrett Hall ended up with 17 for Galena, their top 2 scorers on the night.
Mike, who are you going to go with for your D-Rail Commodity Player of the Game?
Well, that's how I was looking down the stat sheet there. You know, you're going to have to go with Brendan Doherty. He did everything he could coming out here in the second half, not afraid to shoot the long ball after he'd struggled in the first half. We ended up with 21 points on the night, so I'm going to have to go with Brendan tonight.
So the Indians did regroup at halftime, was able to cut into that Galena lead at one point, got it down to 14 towards the end of that third quarter, but gave most of that back in that fourth quarter. So not all bad. The Indians just couldn't get a bucket to go in that first half, so a lot to build on here, and roll right into the weekend. And next Tuesday, a big Three Rivers game up at Marmonton Valley, and then another tough opponent when you go to Frontenac, and then right into that Southeast tournament. So no time to cry in your milk, spilt milk much. You're going to have to keep your heads up and keep playing hard. The Lady Indians fall in a big overtime loss to Galena, and then the Indian boys just lost here to Galena. So I want to thank everybody for joining us. Thank all our sponsors. Thanks for listening to our KW Trucking post-game show. Our D-Rail Commodity Player of the Game was Brendan Doherty. Thanks for everybody for watching and listening on the live stream. Hopefully that we keep being able to get connected up here like we're supposed to, and able to bring you the game live. So spread the word that the game is live stream. Even if you can't pick up the radio station, you can hook up to the internet and watch it live and plug her into your big screen, and just like you're at an old NBA game.
That's right.
I want to thank everybody for listening. Thank Mike. Thank Marissa back in the studio. I want to thank our cameraman, Dalton Turner, is running our camera for us on the live stream. So thank him a lot for helping us out on the live stream. Make sure you all join us next Tuesday night when we travel to Marmonton Valley. Have a good weekend. Be safe. You've been listening to St. Paul Basketball on Hot 105.